salon. Can you walk us through your setup? Like, what is the layout of your salon?
Sure. So if you walk through the doors, immediately upon walking in, you'll be at our front desk. To your left begins the general reception area, as well as certain salon seats. There's a total of what? 6 seats total in the salon. So again, we're talking about a very small confined space. The salon wraps around the center. It's a jewelry box shape. So you'll have salon chairs that are along the edges of the wall. In the center of the salon, you have the shampoo bowls, and then you'll have the lab and the hallway leading to the bathrooms where all guests have to go once again to change their robes before their services begin. Then to obviously the left of the bathrooms, we have a break room, and that pretty much summarizes, the total of the 1,000 square feet that we're working with.
Thank you. I was a part of that committee that assisted on changing that law, and board staff is absolutely right. It was to avoid compliance issues. It's very difficult to know who to issue citations to. It's very difficult to know whose workstation belongs to what. I understand what you're saying, and the location sounds like it's a great spot for clients to see that your practitioners are licensed, and having their license there makes sense for the client part, but you're missing one element, which is our compliance team and what they have to do for their due diligence. So I can understand your point of it, but I think that it's missing another side of it, which is our side of it, and knowing who to issue those citations to, if that makes sense.
And this is Janie Huggins for the record. I know in this particular establishment that the establishment is willing to, for lack of a better word, take the hit on the citation, which is sort of another reason that we ask that we can go see the individual licensee, so all of the citations don't always go to the owner. And I understand from their perspective, but we also have to look at everything uniformly and try to be as equal as possible. And for us to say it's okay in one establishment versus another is not acceptable.
Yeah, we're going to set precedent. Why even have
if I may
change the legislation? We might as well have just left it the way that it was. Yes, go ahead.
If I may for a moment. So I think that, first of all of our stylists are employees. They're all commissioned stylists, which is why, as she said, if anyone's going to take the hit, it's going to be the salon itself. Second, I would at least reason that if for whatever reason the court is not persuaded, and if you think that this amendment suffices to achieve what you believe it's achieving, we would ask at a minimum that the violations be weighed, given our prior success on this issue, and that the board issue some form of clarification as to precisely where within a salon a roaming stylist that doesn't have a set workstation, or a shampoo tech, or an assistant that again doesn't have a set workstation, are supposed to post their licenses in order to meet compliance with the statute. I mean, obviously, you seem to understand and appreciate that our clients are very well aware of the fact that all of our technicians and our stylists are duly licensed. I don't think that that's a doubt in any of our clients' minds, but if it's solely just to assist inspectors and the board, I would ask the board to please provide some sort of clarification on that point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's to the point where I'm like, should they be wearing their licenses around the salon? Should we have copies at the salon bowls, at the lab, at each workstation for every person?
I can understand your confusion with that. We have a question from our DAG, so we're going to let her speak on it.
Hi, good afternoon. Do any of the employees have assigned workstations at your salon?
No, they do not. They move from one station to the next. It all depends on how many clients are in the salon at any given time, how many assistants are working at any given time, and whether or not our stylists are double booked for the day.
Where do they keep their individual supplies, like that they purchase? Do they have drawers assigned to them? I'm looking at the website at some of the photos, and it looks like they're like closets essentially on the side of the workstations. Are those assigned?
To be clear, our stylists do not purchase their own products again at all. We supply everything to our stylists. They are employees of the salon, so anything that's in the cubby holes belongs to the salon. and are shared amongst stylists, depending on who's at what workstation each day. And that's just
Okay.
the nature of the commission salon.
And so then what is in the cabinets?
The cabinets can be anything from hair products, hot tools, without seeing what cabinets you're talking about, it's difficult for me to, there's cabinets all alongside our stations themselves, alongside the mirrors. There's also rollabout cabinets with hot tools.
Yeah, I'm talking about the cabinets that are attached to the mirrors. So no personal items are kept in any of these drawers. They're just salon items. I know a lot of hairdressers will like their own shears. They like their own specific foils, things like that. I guess we're just trying. You're asking for guidance, so we're trying to help you with that. The violations will be voted on later, but as far as giving guidance, I think that that's important to knowing how to guide Globe Salon in complying with the statute.
Everything within the cubbies belongs to the salon. It will be hot tools and maybe their shears. But again, those move with the stylist depending on where they're working on any given day. And those would be the only items that would actually travel with the stylist throughout the salon. The rest of the products, the hot tools, everything else that's either within the cubbies as well as alongside our stations is going to be property of the salon, and it's going to be consistent across stylists. And if you need any further clarification, Mr. Rees is here and he can jump in.
So the carts you said that the hairstylists will take around the salon with them?
They will not take the carts with them. If they have a pair of personal shears that they prefer to use, they can take those shears with them to and from a workstation.
I just think that if you can take your shears, you can take your license. I do understand you're wanting like guidance on this, but I don't think this is the board's job to make it known how you guys can get into compliance, like in your own specific salon. You guys are going to know that best. All that we can do is provide guidance on what the statute says and whether you're not in compliance at this time, which it doesn't seem like with the licenses being on the wall that you are. If you're wanting to get into compliance, there's always a way, whether it's putting it on a cart, putting it in their back pocket, like you suggested, or even putting them with their shears or hot tools. They have some way of getting those tools from one station to the next. And we are just asking that if they're going to roam, that's the steps that you have to figure out as well.
I also want to add, I think assigning workstations for the employees might be a good way to get in compliance, and then hanging those licenses at their assigned workstations rather than having them roam, because it is a requirement of statute. And unfortunately, the board is not able to change the statute. That's the legislature. So and they can't bend the statute. They have to follow what the legislature says, that just as a function of separation of powers.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Steve McDonald for the record.
Please.
I always enjoy talking to attorneys because I'm one myself. I always enjoy. So I'm part of the brethren, Ms. Kanata. so I always enjoy this. My wife's an attorney as well, so we deal with this harmless banter all the time. As you thank you for bringing up the meeting before that I appeared before the legislature. And that was definitely, I know you may have taken my words verbatim, but that was my intent, was that the way the law is written, and I came in after this was pretty much already had the multiple hearings on this statute through town hall meetings and board meetings, and then going before the legislature. So there was, it took a long time to get our whole chapter revised and cleaned up. And this was the intent of the prior board that Ms. O'Brien was on, was for us to go through all of our statutes, as well as the regulations that were approved back in April of this year. Was that the license would be portable, if I may, Madam Chair, is that we're more than willing to try to work with this salon. It is somewhat of a unique model where you have the mobile traveling, we'll call it that, traveling technician within a location. Normally people have workstations. That is the typical model. So that way it is easier for us for our compliance team to assess what's going on within that area, and who is responsible and accountable for it. So with that, we would definitely recommend that if the board so chooses because they were given a warning about this change and how we were going to implement it, execute it, which is our job. And I got to make that clear. It's the state's job to execute these rules and regulations and statutes. And it's our interpretation. We try to work with all licensees. I told you, as you'll hear later, we give warnings 4 times more than we issue citations. You'll see that in my report later on. The numbers bear that out since I've been here for 2 years. Is that we're willing to, if the board so chooses, recommend that to waive the fee, but to keep the citation. And the only reason why is because we gave a warning before the law went into effect. Even though it was passed, there was many months for it to go into effect. Once it went into effect, we went back out there again, and they still didn't do what we asked them to do. That's one reason why they were cited. We gave a warning first. So, and because they had and previously complied with the law before the board, prior to the board, then we're willing to waive the fee. We're recommending to the board members to waive the fee, but to keep the citations. The only reason why is because we did give a warning before it went into effect.
Okay, thank you for your suggestion. At this time, do any of our board members have any questions for Globe Salon, or comments or concerns? I do have a question. How am I wording it though? The petition is to dispute the violations, right?
Mhm.
So, okay. Whether this is upheld or denied today, what is Globe going to do regarding those licenses?
Frankly, that's going to have to be a business decision, but from the sound of it, they're going to have to be portable and they're going to have to travel with our stylists around the salon each day, every day, including our stylists, our assistants, and our shampoo techs.
Okay, thank you for letting us know. All right, are we ready to make a motion?
No,
I don't know what the motion's gonna be.
I don't know, me personally, I think,
Huh?
you wanna wait?
You're not gonna put, Mariano's.
Yes,
And for
Let's-
clarification, Steve McDonald for the record, I've been informed by my staff that there's 3 licensees in there.
Mhm.
3 licensees in there,
Mhm.
3 people.
Mhm.
How many people? I mean, it's 3.
Yeah.
Is there more than 3? I mean, how large is this place? I mean, 1,000
1,000
feet,
square
how
She
many
said there's
people?
6 seats. But she said
6?
there's 6 seats, she said it's not super big.
Okay,
Mhm.
so you got 3
Stated.
people,
Mhm.
and of course, 3 people,
3 licensed
3
individuals.
licenses
Yeah,
challenging with their license. And we'll still work with the salons.
Yeah.
But I just trying to figure out how that would be cumbersome.
it's not.
I-
I'm trying to get that, right? I'm trying to understand. that.
What do you mean cumbersome about the fine?
Cumbersome
No,
about a
about moving.
person.
The
I just feel
licenses.
bad. I've been to so many establishments. I walk in, all the licenses are right there. I can see them. If it's a nail spa, it's right behind them. If you go to, otherwise we would have every business in here because they don't have licenses posted. I don't get my hair done all the time, but the stylist typically will have it up on the mirror. Sometimes it'll be a different stylist that's in the facility at the time. Otherwise, they should, if they're not there, they can take the license down if they are portable. But as long as they're there, their license should be up. We should see it. And even if they're not there, I still see licenses up. So I just feel like this, whatever it is, whatever you guys got away with the first time and felt that you could bend the rules, I feel like that mentality is kind of why we're here. It's like, well, we don't need to move them. It's 3 licenses, like just make them visible, make it easy for yourself. It's not a huge deal, but I do feel like the fact that our inspectors went out there a second time and something that is not like, you know, a full cleaning issue and stuff like that. I just feel like it's really simple and that I would at least, I like to see at least half of the fine upheld, me personally, because it's just like, you know, we need to know who's there, we need to know who's licensed, we don't know if they are duly licensed, X, Y, Z. But that's just me. I can understand the first time, but it's like the second time, I always have my license out. I'd be scared to not have my license out. I'd be scared to not have it right on me if I'm practicing. So, you know, I understand how we want to do things, but we're also regulated. So we can't do everything we want to do all the time. So that's just me, you
No,
know?
it's not,
So-
you're right, like, yeah.
Because it's not, you know,
Yeah.
we all know we have to have our license shown.
Yeah.
Anywhere you guys go, I'm sure you automatically look for licenses.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't know if they're licensed. So if your license are in the
Yeah.
back of the building, and this is my first day here, I have no idea that you're duly licensed, you know?
Yeah.
So, but
We might get
that's just me, you know, so.
That's what you better try.
Okay. And
We will plan to have our assistant travel with her license throughout the salon every day, given that, I mean, she's never gonna have her own workstation because she's
Yeah.
jumping from one to the next. So she will have to physically have her license on her every time she's on the salon floor, is basically what I'm hearing.
Hang on.
Yes.
That's what the statute requires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, that's
Okay.
what the legislature enacted, and so that is what is required.
They have to hang it around their neck.
Okay, what do we want to do about the, fine?
Night, this is
Hi.
Board Member Jeffers.
From the-
I just want to talk as a business owner myself who has multiple rooms with multiple estheticians. We used to have them displayed years ago, like kind of how you do, and now we have the acrylic frames that they do move each day to different rooms, but you can always, I think I'm okay to say this, order a duplicate license. So you have them at whatever station, if they're gonna be at station 1 and station 2, you have them framed at each station.
Doesn't that confuse the point of the board, though, that they have to determine who's at any given station at any given time?
I mean, board staff. If it's an assistant who's blow drying, say she's blow drying at station 1, then she's blow drying at station 2. What do you want the assistant to do?
I think for compliance, sorry, Angela Lee for the record, for compliance issues, it's a matter of who is in charge of that area when compliance comes in and wants to see. So duplicate licenses in the same place are not going to confuse the staff. It's only going to help further clarify whose workstation is this and who is in charge of this specific area.
And-
So duplicates will not confuse. the
this is
staff.
Janie Huggins for the record. And just to be clear, there's also a little bit of the inspectors are going to come in and look for a license and be able to determine who that person is if they match the photo on the license versus coming in, going to check the licenses that are hanging on a back wall, coming back to verify that that's the person versus asking a licensee what their license number is on the floor, which most licensees don't know by heart and then defer to social. So it does reduce the amount of confusion, but ultimately the inspectors in the southern part of the state would be happy to visit the establishment and work with the owners to ensure that there is acceptable placement for the licenses. So it is clear and not too burdensome for the business to move the licensees around.
So what should we do? What do we do?
You're fulfilling the spirit of the fucking law.
Right.
Doing good. I'm just taking it all in.
And then this is Janie Huggins for the record. If it is important for the board to know that the second violation that they are petitioning, which is the third offense for $500, was issued just in August after they had already been issued this violation and were waiting to be agendized on a board meeting. And so there might have been, I don't want to say confusion, but they were probably waiting for the outcome
Overlap.
of the board. So the third violation might have some extra consideration there.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful to know on timeline for when they were issued and kind of how to proceed. Okay. Huh?
We have a third violation.
The $500.
Oh.
So Madam Chair, staff recommendation, this is Steve McDonald for the record,
Uh-huh.
would be to waive the fee for the initial violation.
Mhm.
But keep the citation on the record because they've been noticed twice now. A third time, because of the chronology, they were waiting pending to come on the agenda.
Mhm.
I would recommend we waive that citation and fee. the
Okay.
last one that just occurred. And it's based upon them showing that they comply with the law from the previous board back in a couple of years ago,
Okay.
2020, so 4 years ago.
Okay.
So we're giving them, that's a mitigating circumstance. We'll give them that.
Okay.
That board that the staff is recommending to you. But also just to waive the fee but to keep the initial citation because we did give them a warning.
Okay.
So I'm confused here, sorry. So I'm looking at this, there's two, first offense, second offense, right?
Mhm.
Okay. But there's a third offense that's not on here, right? Or is that?
This is Janie Huggins for the record. This is technically their fourth offense. They were
Okay.
warned and then they were issued a compliance review. They petitioned it and were successful back in 2020. They were given a compliance review in July of 2023 because the law had changed. So we, for the purposes of this particular situation, can consider that their first warning since the law had changed. Then they were issued a citation, and then they were issued a second offense citation, which is a $200 citation and then a $500 citation. On the last citation, it was Inspector Lopez. She did have a lengthy conversation with the other owner, not James, a female owner, where this was discussed, that if they had petitioned the previous violation, they were waiting to go before the board. We discussed it as well. Because the statute is clear, we had to issue that second violation or third or whatever, the $500 violation. Because the law is very clear, the way it was written is very clear, so we had to maintain that for the purposes of clarity and compliance for the licensee.
Okay, I was sorry, I was just like so lost. I'm like, where's all this extra stuff that's not on here? Okay, so then, yeah, I'm okay with,
Board suggestion.
with some of the suggestion. I feel like the fact that this has been going on this long is kind of absurd to me. And, you know, our inspectors, they go out there to do their job. And me as a business owner, if my business kept getting fired for like having a license in the wrong place, I would fix it instead of go through it for like 4 years. You know, so it's just like time and energy on everybody's part. I just consider, so I would be okay with waiving half the fee. But like to say like to completely waive all the fees, no, because it's like 4 years and like if someone.
Well, the one in 2020, the board approved it and they were allowed to leave the licensure there. And so that's why when the legislature changed in 2023, a compliance review was issued instead of a citation.
And I agree, I
Yeah.
understand that, but what I'm saying is if this has been an issue since 2020 and 2024, almost 2025, I would have been like, you know what, this is not even worth the headache or the energy to sit on Zoom to fight this, you know, and keep having the board come cite me. So that's why I say like, for me, it's not about making people pay money. It's about learning a lesson and then like not repeating it and trying to implement that same pattern in other areas of life or business. And so sometimes we have to pay to understand, and you know, we do ourselves a disservice when we don't hold people accountable, right? And for like sometimes like if wasting people's time, it costs money. I'm not saying they wasted our time, but like, you know, going up and causing time, it costs money and energy. And so I feel that we have to hold people accountable as a board, and also just like, you know, sometimes you got to bear which burdens are worth the weight of bearing.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just me. However else you guys feel, I'm cool with it, but I'm just putting it out there.
Thank you.
If I may, just for
Yes.
a brief moment, I think it
Yeah,
would
go
be
ahead.
completely inappropriate to look at the violations from 2020, which we succeeded on before the amendment of the statute in determining what the board's going to do today in terms of these violations.
I completely agree. What my point was, I'm not saying that what happened in 2020 was wrong at all. I'm glad you guys won that. What I'm saying is the fact that the laws have changed and that it's 4 years later and you're still fighting over where you can put a license in the business. And they came out there, they let you know that things had changed, and then they came back again, is, you know, there's a habitual pattern here. And so I'm saying for me as a board member of the state, I am okay with upholding the violations and paying half the fine instead of suggesting the full fine, because they warned you and let you know that things are different now, and then you guys still decided not to move the licenses. So me as a board member, I have the right to have my own opinion and how I feel, and that's how I feel. So what happened in 2020 is great, but I'm saying that it's been over 4 years and this whole thing has been going on since it ever started. And so for me, I would like to see like some accountability, like, yeah, you know what, we were fighting you guys on moving our licenses, but we just have to stay in compliance. That's what's important. Like, let's focus on assisting our clients. You know, like that's where I'm at. So that's all. Thank you.
And I
very much.
respect that. And I respect that. I think that part of our problem is we think the statute, even with the amendments, is still pretty ambiguous as it relates to our business operations. But obviously, we're beholden to what the board wants to do today.
Thank you.
Okay. Board member Detry, I'm sitting over here listening to this, and I have to say, their business model, which I respect, is their business model, but it doesn't apply to the compliance. So you're trying to give them a break on something they knew about. So in my opinion, the violations stand. And but it's just, I'm sorry, but that's just the way I see this. They knew exactly what was going on. We can't adapt this to their business model. Because then we're bending the rules for everybody.
And that was the whole point.
But we've talked about that 30 minutes now,
Right.
going around the same
Right.
circle.
For something that's been going on for like 4 years.
Okay, so let's make a motion. All right.
All right.
Do we have any other things from the north? And do we know what we're doing on the motion?
I'm okay with waiving half or you can keep all, but I don't think we should waive.
I think it needs to be all left.
Okay, cool.
Okay, all right, let's make the motion, please.
Board Member Harris, I would like to uphold the violation S 11385.
Can I get a second?
Board member Detry, I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, so we are going to uphold the violation and just suggest those licenses get situated with whatever works best for your guys' business model, as long as it is with the stylist.
So for purposes of clarification, are we only paying the initial violation fee, not the second one that was issued while our petition was pending? And can you confirm that amount for me, please?
Yes, I think we do need to fix the, I think we need to fix the motion because the one was done while they were waiting for this hearing, right?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Are
Stephen
we
Dunn.
okay with waiving that one while they were waiting?
Are you talking about the first offense and the second offense? or-
No, I'm talking about the one that they were issued while we were waiting.
The
to get them onto
$500
here.
fine is one that was issued while they were pending to get on the agenda.
Are we
How
okay?
how long after was this offense from the first offense?
This is Janie Huggins for the record. There were several months in between.
Then no, for me, I'm not. If you guys want to, I'll do it, but I
Yeah,
I'm in
and
agreement
just-
with. I just don't think so.
And just as a reminder to the board, you don't have to all vote unanimously. You can
Oh,
vote,
okay.
you can vote nay if you don't agree with the motion. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm just like middle ground. I'm not trying to be difficult, but you know, I just have my own personal.
Yeah, Madam Chair, Steve McDonald, that is our recommendation, is to waive that, the recent citation for $500. That means the citation as well as the fee.
Okay, so if the board is wanting to do that, we're gonna need to rescind the prior action, vote to rescind the prior action, and then create a motion that is what the executive director is
Okay.
suggesting. Sorry, I can't get my words out.
Yeah, we made our
Okay.
decision. Okay, thank you. Bill.
Wait, okay, so this is Board Member Jeffers. I just have a quick clarification. So if we vote on this and because they were cited while this was waiting to come to meeting for all future things, if other salons get citations while they're waiting to be seen for a previous citation, we would have to get rid of it.
Correct.
I'm fine with that. Oh wait, I'm sorry,
Wait,
what, like
what?
upholding it against them? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that, cause like I said, if someone is coming to me, with this board member, world record, if someone is coming to me and saying, hey, you're gonna have to pay $400 unless you fix this, I'm not, me personally, I wouldn't continue to chart, like uncharted territories. I would not keep going into them if it's gonna cost me money. So I just feel that it's a little bit of like well, I'm just gonna, I don't know, challenge you which I'm not saying that they shouldn't feel the need to come petition, but if it's about my business and me following the law, those are two different things. One's black and white, the other's how I feel that day,
And Angela Lee, for the record, every decision the board makes can be made on an individual basis. The facts are always different. So just because we do something in this matter doesn't mean we have to do it in future matters. It is always nice to be consistent, and I think that looks better in the eyes of the law. But again, it is a case-by-case basis specific to the facts. So just because we do something here doesn't mean we have to do it in the future.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So for
Okay.
clarification for the petitioner, the motion stands as is, that all of the fines are due.
If that is the will of the board.
And we're voting that that is the will of the board.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's our motion then. And because she is a lawyer, she needs to reach out to you.
Yes, so,
Okay.
and just to clarify, so, the board has decided to uphold both, fines, Ms. Kanata.
Wow.
And if you have any
I don't
questions-
understand how that is appropriate when I had a pending petition to have the board examine this issue in light of the recent amendments. I mean, there's nothing stopping the board from continuing to tack on violation and after violation as a licensee waits for their opportunity to come before you for clarification on issues.
Yes.
I mean, I
well,
understand if that's the board's ruling, but that seems completely unfair.
We understand.
completely
Thank you so
unfair.
much. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
And what was your name?
Angela Lee.
You were told, Kate. You were told.
You can contact me at amlee@ag.nv.gov. Oh, okay, she's gone. Yep, strike from the record.
All right, moving on, we're gonna go to petitioner, letter O, loan to Choi 8, N-42787 for discussion and possible action. Petitioner is disputing B3149802 and B3149773. Petitioner Ha, are you available? All right, we'll trail. Petitioner Q, Candace Stewart, OBO, the Skin Institute and Laser Center, S709277 for discussion and possible action. Petitioner is disputing B3150629. Ms. Stewart, are you here? Oh, I see her on there.
And this is Janie Huggins for the record. Petitioner Q, R, and S are all connected. Petitioner Q, Candace Stewart, is the establishment owner. R and S are licensees that were working inside the establishment that were issued violations for them.
Okay. Should we go in order or?
I
Hello?
think it just depends on who responds.
Yes, here's Candace.
Oh,
Is this Candace?
yes.
Hi, Candace. Can you please raise your right hand and we'll get you sworn in?
Sure.
Good afternoon, Candace.
Hello?
Hello. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Stewart, could you please tell us why you're here today?
Sure.
Thanks.
I own a med spa and I've owned it for, we're in our 25th year. And back in 2022, an inspector came into the office and told us that we needed to have a specific license from you guys and that all of my estheticians needed to have a collaboration form with our doctor. And at the time I was actually out of town, but my employees contacted me and I immediately did it that day, stepped away from my vacation, sent all the paperwork in, drew a sketch of my salon, scheduled to have a notary come to our office to have our doctor sign the collaboration forms and to grandfather in the estheticians who hadn't had an advanced aesthetics license. So we got all of that taken care of, like within the same day I got the license. And within less than a week, I had all the forms uploaded from our doctor that were notarized. So that was in 2022, February 2022. And I have an email that shows that I sent those that day. So fast forward to a few months ago, 2024, an inspector comes by our office and says, and I wasn't in, so one of my managers was talking with her and she said, you guys aren't in compliance. You don't have a license from us. And my manager doesn't deal with the business side of things. So she said, sorry about that. What do you need from us? And the inspector said, if you don't get in compliance, I will fine you guys. And my manager said, well, of course we want to be in compliance. Just tell us what we need to do. She said, go on our website and fill out the paperwork. So my employee calls me. I come in the office like an hour later. She tells me what happens. I go on the website and I can't see anything that is different from what I had already done. So I called the inspector on the number on her card, got her voicemail, and then I sent her an email and said, hey, I'm on your website. I can't see what it is that you guys want me to do. Can you let me know specifically what it is? Didn't hear back from her that day. So I just figured maybe they were gone from the office. The next morning, like at 1 minute after the board opened, I was on the phone with them saying, hey, what's the problem? What do you guys need from me? And I spoke with Miss Gossage and she said, you guys don't have a license with us. And I said, we do. It's a 4-year license, right? And she said, yes. And I said, well, we got it 2 years ago. So we're within that 4 years. And she said, no, I canceled that license 2 years ago. I refunded you your money and canceled your license. And I was like, what? Why would you? She said, I sent you an email. I never got that email. And I'm not even entirely sure to this day why that was canceled back then, but the point is I didn't know about it. I didn't receive a phone call or any other communication besides that email. After she told me that, I did go into my spam folder and she did send me an email, but it was in my spam. I had no idea that we weren't still licensed with the board. So I said, okay, let's get this handled. What do we need to do? That day, the same day, less than 24 hours after our inspection, we had solved everything. I did all the paperwork again. We even went to the effort of having our doctor notarize new forms, even though we still had the ones that were 2 years old. We called a notary, had the doctor do it all. And the inspector came back in, went through our business, approved it. And we actually asked her then, we said, hey, you told us yesterday if we didn't solve this, that you were going to fine us. And we did solve it, but you still fined us. And she said, well, that's because you didn't get back to me. Usually when I inspect people, they get back to me right away. And I explained to her that I had tried to call her and that I had emailed her. And she said, I never got an email from you. And then she went in her spam and she found the email from me. So, and she even said, okay, if I had known this, I probably wouldn't have fined you guys. So anyway, she fined myself as a business and then 2 of my employees, and for a total of $2,000, which is a lot to us. It might as well be $1 million. And like I said, this is my 25th year in business. I have multiple licenses from the states. I have multiple insurances. We're members of different like industry communities that we pay for to be part of it. Like we're not a business that's trying to be sneaky or not follow regulation or whatever we need to do. So I think this is just a case of miscommunication. Technology's our friend sometimes it doesn't work. I think that's what happened here. And so we are respectfully requesting to have our violations voided and to not be charged.
Thank you. We're going to hear from board staff at this time. They'll do their presentation and then we'll come back to you, okay?
Okay.
This is Janie Huggins for the record. Essentially, everything the petitioner is telling you is relatively correct, with the exception of back in 2022, they were never licensed. And we did not cancel the license. An application was received on behalf of Ms. Stewart. The application was incomplete. They offer advanced aesthetics at their establishment, and they provided no licensee in charge that was licensed for advanced aesthetics. So any establishment license that would come through without a proper licensee in charge would not be accepted because it is essentially incomplete. I'm not aware of the emails going into spam, but that could certainly reasonable to expect in certain circumstances, and they were cited within a relatively short time span. I believe they were given about a day to get an application together. This is the citation invoice for the $1,000 that Miss Stewart was issued. In subsequent slides, there are the individual licensees that were cited for practicing in the location outside or not authorized by the board. This is the timeline that we are speaking about back from 2022, essentially when Advanced Aesthetics first started. Basically, this was just a couple of months after that license type was made live. These are some screenshots from their website, just showing a rundown of who they are, the services they offer. Same with, this is screenshots from their Instagram, advertising for the Advanced Aesthetic Services. And then this is a photograph of their booking system showing the individual licensees that work there. But again, ultimately, they did get into compliance. They are a licensed establishment now. And I can move on to the individual slides if you would like to see those, or if you'd like to wait for those petitioners.
We do also, Steve McDonald for the record, also want to add that the application fee was refunded. How much was it?
$415 for a 4-year license.
Okay, $415 for a 4-year license was refunded. So it went back into the bank account or against the credit card that was used to pay. So that's another way that is given notice to that licensee that your application didn't accept because you still have the money.
Mhm.
The only time your license is good is if we keep the money,
Mhm.
right? So you're on notice that the money was given back to you. If you use your debit card, it goes back into your account. If you use the credit card, it would have credited your credit card account.
Mhm.
So that's another way of knowing that, well, that's kind of weird that they didn't take my money. So something would have happened. Something would have stopped it from being approved.
Well,
Yeah, can I respond to that? You're
Can you
right.
give me
If
one
I was,
second? Can you
I'm
give me
sorry?
Can you give me 1 second?
Oh, yeah.
Along these same lines of sequence of events, once a application goes through, what are the next steps?
This is Janie Huggins for the record. When an establishment application is received, it is processed by office staff within 2 business days, usually same day if it's a day that we're open. Once that application has been processed, you'll receive some form of communication with us. Typically, it's a confirmation that you are moving on to the next step, like confirming your name, your address, this is how you're going to schedule your opening inspection. Or if the application is incomplete and we don't have enough information, we will send out an email to either try to acquire that information or tell you that the application has been rejected because it's incomplete and you need to resubmit.
Okay, so was this establishment licensed under cosmetology before?
No,
So
this
is
was a brand new establishment because this was,
They had the laser.
they pretty much only do advanced aesthetics from to my knowledge. And this was back when the license type went live. So
Mhm.
they were attempting to get into compliance right away. I think the delay or the confusion or the missing information was that their licensees that they had placed on the application had not successfully grandfathered in yet. They were not actually advanced estheticians. So they didn't have the advanced esthetician licensee in charge, which is why they were ultimately refunded and the application was rejected as incomplete.
And today they are in compliance on all facets.
This is Janie Huggins for the record. That is correct. The
Okay.
individual licensees that work inside the establishment are properly licensed as advanced estheticians. I believe they also have collaboration agreements with healthcare professionals to supervise them for the services that
Mhm.
they're providing. And the establishment is also licensed with us properly.
To beat a
Yes.
dead horse, there was nothing issued from the board to the salon saying, go for it. You can do these services now.
Not in 2022, no.
So like, how would they know that I don't know. I'm just trying to place
Yeah.
it together. Like, how do you have an inspector be like, oh, you have to get in compliance, and then they go do it, but then they don't ever get any like licensure saying like, oh, let me hang this. We can now do these services.
Can I just add it onto that? Did they have any kind of licensing, like any kind of like med spa licensing or anything like that?
This is Janie Huggins for the record. I would presume that in 2022, they probably only had a local license. In 2022, depending on where they're located, and I think that this place falls within the city of Las Vegas. They needed a personal services license and nothing else. Medical professionals don't require an establishment license like we do. If they're doing injectables, I think that there is a dispensing license, but I'm also not confident that you need one to actually do it. So that's not within my purview. So no, to their knowledge, to sum it up, they were licensed appropriately in 2022 until the laws changed.
So,
We actually have her under oath. We could ask her these questions directly. But you're right. Again, when she says local license, that means the city of Las Vegas, Clark County, people get kind of confused sometimes. And then the law changed, which brought the state involved, meaning us, for advanced estheticians. As the board is well aware of AEs. It passed in 2021, went into effect January of 2022, and then ended October 1 of that grandfathering of last year. So we're aware of the grandfathering of AEs. But the mitigating thing is that they got into compliance as fast as they could, as soon as they were aware of doing it. And we do appreciate that of
Yes.
the licensing
Yes.
and her AEs that work there.
Yes, and I can understand how that time period was probably extremely taxing and stressful on these businesses that were already operating. And now we have, come in and kind of govern them overnight to some, because I don't think a lot of those laser salons were following our regulations and our town halls and everything that was going on. So I was a part of that, and I can definitely tell you that was a stressful time for everyone. Ms. Stewart, can I address you at this time?
Yes.
In the letter I think it's from you that we have here. It does state that you were told by Dana that you needed a license. Were you never concerned that nothing was issued to you in a license form during that time period after the application? Can you speak to that time period?
Yeah, I can. And I think it goes back to what you just said about it being a new thing. Like, it didn't occur to me that you guys would actually give me a license like the state had. It was, they came in, they said, hey, we need this from you now. You need to grandfather your people. So in my mind, I had filled out the paperwork with you guys, submitted the payment, got a notary, had all my girls grandfathered in, uploaded all the notary forms to you guys. And I was like, okay, we're good. We did it. It didn't occur to me that why aren't they telling me, yes, go ahead? Because the state of Nevada in 25 years has never said to me, go ahead. I mean, they sent me a paper license, that's true. And speaking to the gentleman who said, didn't you see it come back on your credit card? Yeah, my bad, I didn't. Or else obviously I would have said, why are you refunding me this? Like, as a business owner, I just wasn't checking my debit card every day to see if anybody wanted to refund me money. But so I think it was just like a new thing. We thought we had complied because after the inspector came in, when I called Lauren the next morning, I even said to her, no, we're licensed with you guys. We're only 2 years into our 4 years. And that's when I found out. So it was never a situation of me just thinking, oh, they want a license. I don't care, moving on. That's just never entered my mind. I follow all the laws. And I have had state licenses. I have a beauty and barber supply license, and we have a medical professional license that we've had for 25 years.
nice, awesome. Well, this is board member Wold. Hello, Ms. Stewart. So
Hello.
you said, so on your initial application in 2022, you had AEs that were trying to be with your establishment, correct?
They weren't AEs at the time. They were being grandfathered in that's the forms that we had our doctor sign for, because it was a new thing with you guys. So
were
our
they
doctors,
estheticians or were they laser? Or what did they do?
they were estheticians.
Okay, so my question is that and you put them on your application to open, correct? Okay, so my thing is when you have licensees and you're a business owner, you have to report what licensees are in your establishment to the board. correct?
We did. That's when I uploaded the forms to you guys. And they
So-
have been paying the AE fees every year since then.
But my thing is that if they knew that they were okay with the board, like you would have had to get all their information, send it to the board, and then you should have had a salon license along with their license. So I guess for me, for 2 years, I don't understand how the AEs didn't, one, question why maybe they never saw state board, or why they never received correspondence from state board, or anything of that nature. Because for 2 years, there's certain things that we're looking for as estheticians and things that we're aware of. And so you went 2 years without talking to state board, is that correct? Just
Yeah.
operating.
Yes. But before that, I went 20 years without them coming in.
Well, that
So
was
it
before
wasn't
the
something that,
license came.
right, that's
before
what I'm
the
saying. It
laws
just
changed.
wasn't something that was on our radar because it hadn't been something that happened before. So when you're saying it, I can see your point, like, why didn't we see inspectors for 2 years? Well, that wasn't something that had ever been part of our business, so it wasn't something that was lacking. We weren't like, hey, where are they? Why aren't they coming? To us, it was,
I know, but my thing is that you had our licensees are in your establishment. So
Mhm.
moving forward, as the business owner, any person, any industry you're in, if you have licensees there, you maybe want to just contact the regulatory agency that governs them, because they could have not been licensed at all, or lost their license, or did something and you would have never known. And so that's all for me. I'm just, like you said, I'm just trying to wrap my head around someone like not getting an approved application and then moving forward with business for 2 years. And technically we wouldn't come inspect you because you weren't a licensed establishment. So it's kind of hard for us. For me, it's just like, I hope everybody is licensed and everyone's been safe the last 2 years. We really have no idea. But for me, it's just like hard to believe that, because if you have a Clark County license, like right when you get accepted on Secretary of State, they give you your document packet, they have all your numbers, they have everything for you. And so you didn't receive any correspondence at all. You just gave $415 to someone with no receipt, no follow up or anything. And so for me, I'm just trying to kind of just see where you're at, or where your licensees are at, because they could have known that they were operating an illegal establishment. And so I just can't sit here and say for 2 years nobody knew that they were working at an unlicensed place, because those licensees risk their license to work with you or for you. So yeah, I just kind of have a hard time seeing that. For me, that's all.
Board Member O'Brien, can you tell me what services you were performing prior to 2022?
Laser hair removal and basic skin services,
Can you
like
elaborate?
like facials, chemical peels. We do injectables, but I know that's not in your purview.
Remember, all those services before 2022, you would have had to been a licensed salon, because facials, waxing, skincare, chemical peels, that's all governed by a state board. So how did you not have us involved prior?
When I first opened up my med spa, I moved from California to do it. I grew up here and I wanted to come back and open the first med spa in Las Vegas. The state of Nevada did not know how to license us. We had to work with the state of Nevada and hire a lawyer to create a category. This is the category they came up with for us to do. And at the time that was legal. That was the law. And until the inspector came to us in 2022, nobody ever said anything different. I know my girls were licensed because I see their licenses. They have them hung in their room. We regularly talk about when they have to renew them. They go to extra training. It's not like we're just, letting anybody in off the street to work for us. But when I started this business, that's what the state of Nevada told me to do. And in 2022, when the Board of Cosmetology said, no, this is what you need to do, I said, okay. And I didn't just randomly give somebody $415. I paid it to the Board of Cosmetology. And uploaded all of the advanced aesthetics forms that they needed. And I mean, I'm sorry that's so confusing to you, but it really, like I said, if I was trying, I mean, I've been watching your forum today since 9 a.m. and you have people doing prostitution. And I just feel like me not knowing that you refunded my money is the least of the board's worries. Like a simple phone call to us would have solved all of this, would have prevented all of this happening. When I initially applied and paid the money and uploaded the notarized forms and I had something missing, simply call my office and say, hey, Candace, you
Board
forgot
Member
to do
Wolf
this.
here, Ms. Stewart. So this is the whole issue here, right? We're a regulatory agency, but because your application did not go through and you did not follow up with this, we have no idea if you just decided to not go through with it. We don't call and say, hey, like, how you doing, Ms. Stewart? Yeah, your application didn't go through. Like, what's going on? Are you okay? Like, that's unfortunately something, not a service that we offer here. It's your job and your duty to make sure as a business owner, I know we have to be accountable and sometimes it's uncomfortable and it's frustrating because it's like I should have, whatever, but you have to bite the bullet sometimes and be like, I missed a step and now I have to figure out what to do, and I commend you for doing that. However, our job is to keep you safe, your licensees safe, and educated. And so as a board, at the end of the day, we have to look at it as, they did not get licensed for whatever the reason is. And then two, they've been practicing for however long, doing our services on the general public without us regulating them, making sure it's safe. And so to you and your licensees, you guys could be doing everything safe. You could be doing everything by the books, but because we don't have a license application with you, or we don't even know where the licenses are that are with you, we didn't know they were in your establishment, we can't monitor that and make sure that is exactly what's happening. And so that's where things get gray. And so I understand your frustration. What other people do really is no concern. We're the board. We just make sure people stay in compliance, whether someone's doing prostitution or illegal lasering. We're just here to say, hey, please stop this and, get into compliance. That's our only job. So yes, to you, prostitution is much bigger than this, but you having a salon that's unlicensed, I don't know the people who work with you, but you could be harming people. And that is very important as well. So don't compare. Comparison is a thief of joy. Yeah. And so I would just, highly recommend moving forward. Any agency you work with, you need to reach out and talk to them. Don't expect them to call you. No one is going to call you and ask you how your day is. It's your job as a business owner to call and make sure your paperwork is right. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who gets cited, right? So just moving forward with that being said.
And this is Janie Huggins, just to clarify, we typically do not call licensees because we need a paper trail. Every communication that we have, we aim to do it in writing, through email, through paper mail, because we need a paper trail. That's why we're able to pull the emails and the correspondence from 2002. And this establishment owner is correct. We do have problems like prostitution and unlicensed businesses. So it is hard for a team of 4 out in the field to wrangle everything plus 2 office staff. We are a relatively small team covering all of Las Vegas, Henderson, North Las Vegas, and then even up into Pioche, Panaca, Ely, Elko. They're responsible for the whole state. So it is a lot of manpower that goes into getting unlicensed businesses in compliance and licensed, plus dealing with regular sanitation and licensing violations and dealing with the other issues that you've seen go before the board this morning.
I totally understand that. And I'm not criticizing you guys at all for I'm not in no way saying, why didn't you do your job? I understand you guys probably have a million people to visit. And I was not asking anybody to call and ask me how my day was. And I did take responsibility. I'm like, I'm sorry that this happened, but it's not from me trying to do something illegal or wrong. It's just a mistake that happened. Now I know what to expect. And going forward, I'll look for those items, I'm
Ms.
just
Church?
simply saying, one email that, that's what, you're gonna risk that a lot. That's good. That has to happen a lot then, because if my email went to spam, a lot of people's will. I could have solved that so easily 2 years ago, if I had just known. And technology is our friend until it's not.
Yes, thank you, Mr.
While we wait for the executive director's comment, I do have a question as well. You
Sure.
stated when you came here 20 years ago, you worked with a lawyer to create a category for your salon. Can you tell me what the suggestions were, what category that was, and what services you were allowed to do under that category?
I'll tell you as much as I know. At the time, I had a business partner. He was a CPA, and he was dealing more with that while I was dealing more with building our business. So the category, mostly what we were doing then was laser hair removal and microdermabrasion and peels. That's pretty, but the bulk of it was laser hair removal. And it was
At
so
the time,
new.
Also have a doctor on staff for that?
Yes, we did.
Okay, okay,
Mhm.
thanks. You can continue. I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
What was your other question? What did they ultimately give us as a license?
Yeah, were they like saying you could operate your business because you had the doctor on staff and it was?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's helpful. Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Executive Director?
Yes,
Okay.
Madam President, Steve McDonald for the record. Wow. Well, there's several things here, and thank you, Candace, for your testimony. Since Megan and Danielle, agenda items R and S, were estheticians. They're licensed
Right.
by us. So if they renewed, and if we knew that they were in a location that was unlicensed, the state board would have caught it, because they were operating in an unlicensed location, because they have to renew their individual license. So we would have caught it. Unfortunately, sometimes our wonderful licensees out there don't tell us where they moved to, and so we would not have caught it. If they're still at the old license location that they were at, and they pay the license fee, then we wouldn't know that they relocated to Candace location. So
Okay.
there's no way we would have caught it. But the individual licensee is supposed to, within 30 days, tell us where they have relocated, where they have moved to, what location. And if that would have happened, then we would have pulled up that location, and then we would have caught it, that it was an unlicensed location as for aesthetics, because that's what they were. Now they're advanced estheticians. And so again, we appreciate that she stepped forward, got them all in compliance. There was a miscommunication here. But we actually, I've been shown the emails back in 2022 to Candace, and Candace did respond to that email back in 2022. So
The one saying that that the license wasn't good?
yes, then that we refunded you the money.
What did I say?
Sure, we can read it into the record for you.
Okay. Because when I went and looked it up and found it in my spam, I hadn't responded to it that I saw.
On Monday, February 14th, 2022, this is Janie Huggins for the record. Lauren Gossage emailed you. Good afternoon, Candace. Your salon application was refunded. Your location will require an advanced esthetician salon application. With this application, you will need to have licensees who have their advanced esthetician license. I have listed the steps below to obtain the advanced esthetician license, and it goes on to explain how to grandfather in. And that was again on Monday, February 14th, 2022. You responded on Wednesday, February 16th. Hello, Lauren. Thank you for this information. This will be easy for us to provide. All of my employees have thousands of hours of laser experience and have been supervised by our medical directors for 8+ years. And then you go on to explain that you had tested positive for COVID. And then there's several subsequent emails going on until February 28th.
Of 2022.
Okay, and I see that, and on February 22nd, I sent you guys all of the forms that you requested, and Lauren wrote back on the 28th and said, "Hello, Candace, thank you for your email. I did receive all of the affidavits of practical experience. Each individual will need to fill out an individual application and pay the $15." So my girls did that. But after that, I mean, do you have any other information where they say, no, you're still not in compliance? That's the last time we talked.
This is Janie Huggins for the record again. So I didn't read the entire email, but the one that was initially sent to you on Monday, February 14th, it goes on to say that once you have your individual licenses obtained, so for your individual practitioners, you will then need to fill out a new salon application. There's links included in here. It's a lengthy email.
Okay,
It was sent to you.
I'm sorry, I just missed all of that. Like, honestly, once I sent you those notarized forms, and I actually followed up with each of my girls and was like, did you guys, send your license in? And everybody finally did it. So I guess that's what I'm saying, is that I just thought it was done. I wasn't trying to not do it.
Ignorance is not, it's.
Miss Stewart, yeah, I feel that you had a whole email back and forth, so you're fully aware you weren't licensed and that you didn't get to compliance. So yeah, I kind of feel like misled, because this whole time you're like telling, and that's why I'm so confused over here. It's because I'm like, how do you not know you're not licensed? And you know, to some degree, where someone made you aware that it wasn't all good and all done. So yeah, there was no phone call needed. There was emails, they did email you. So I just, now I just kind of feel upset, because I feel you just weren't completely, maybe you forgot, but I just feel like,
Of course. I'm not trying to be misleading.
yeah.
It's 2 years ago. And like I said, when I called your offices the morning after your inspector came, and I said to them, but we are licensed. That's my proof for myself that I 100% believe that we were. I'm not trying to be misleading. I mean, obviously there's a paper trail. I'm not going to lie if I think I know the paper trail, right? So again, I mean, I understand the problem. It was a mistake on my part, but it was an honest mistake, not trying to be sneaky and not be licensed.
So
I mean,
I have one more question for you. So since you never got your salon license, and they sent you that email stating you weren't licensed, did you lead your employees or the people working with you to believe that everything was okay and that you were licensed and good to go?
yes, because I believe that to be true.
So even though you received an email saying you were not licensed and your application was not approved, you stating that your girls had thousands of hours of laser, you thought everything was good and the application was fine.
No, there's another part to that. When I responded and said my girls have thousands of hours, no problem, I can get these forms. Then there was an email where I'm like, okay, here's all the forms that you requested. I sent all that information in. I had a notary come to my office. The doctor signed every single one of them, met with the girls. Like, we went through a lot of work to do that. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like I just said, thanks for the email, anyways, moving on. I took the steps and then forwarded all of those emails to the board. And so, yes, I can see now how I should have realized, oh, but I still need to go back and do whatever with them. But at the time, I'm like, okay, that's good. And of course, I'm not going to lie to my employees. That's just not, you don't stay in business for 25 years lying to people. It just doesn't work.
Okay, so board staff, was there a second payment of $415 in 2022? Okay.
No,
Okay,
I
so
just said that.
So it's okay, but what I'm saying is, in order for them to process your application, you would have to pay the $415 again upon
Right.
admission and acceptance. They would either keep the money, or if they rejected your application, they would refund it. So what I'm saying is, there was no second opportunity to process a second application to get in compliance in 2022. Am I correct? Is that what
Yes, and
Okay.
I just said that a minute ago,
Okay,
that was my bad.
I'm just making sure I understand myself and making sure I have clarity so I can make the right decision. So there was no reason for you to think that your application got accepted because you never paid again, and you weren't told to proceed forward, and you weren't in contact with Ms. Gossage and Ms. Huggins. So I'm just trying to get a full picture here. And so I'm trying to see where you would have thought, or anybody may have led you on to think that you were licensed. So I got that clarity now. Thank you. Right, I'm ready to make a motion whenever you guys are.
All right, are we ready to make a motion? All right, let's go forward with the motion, please.
Okay, this is Board Member Harris. I would like to uphold this violation with a reduction in fee of $500 to S-709277.
Can I get a second?
Board Member Bonetta, I second that motion.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Ms. Stewart, we are going to uphold the violation. However, we did offer a reduction in your fine. We can understand how there might have been some confusion, but mostly that reduction was based on the fact of the expedited timeframe that you got into compliance. And then going forward, just so you know, as I'm sure you're very aware of, you are required to have an actual license in the facility. And, you know, pending 2 or 4 years, that will need to be renewed. So there will be inspections routinely, et cetera, et cetera. The State Board of Cosmetology takes our services that we regulate very, very seriously, so that you guys can stay in compliance and provide the very best service for your customers. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving forward to.
Sorry, this is Board Member Jeffers. I have to leave for the day.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Have a good one.
All right, thank you. All right, moving forward, the petitioners RNS are estheticians of Ms. Stewart's facility.
Correct.
Okay, are we handling them separately or jointly?
It would be at the pleasure of the board if they
Is
wanted.
it the same thing?
Um,
Like
they
their
were-
issues or their
they-
citations are the same?
They were cited for practicing in that establishment without it being licensed. They were
Okay.
cited after Inspector Lopez found them in February of 2024 and issued them citations the next day after an application was not received.
Okay. Does the board mind bundling them?
Yeah, we can bundle.
All right. And do we need to make a motion for that or?
No.
Okay. All right, we're gonna take RNS together. Yes. Yes. Yeah, we'll do the joint motion. We do it separately.
Let's do
if we need.
separate, just
Okay,
to
we'll
be
just
safe.
keep it
I don't
separate,
know,
but we'll
actually.
hear
You
their
can hear
voices
those
jointly.
together.
Okay, all right, so separate motions, but we'll hear them jointly at the same time. Miss Megan Ferguson, A7288 for discussion and possible action. Petitioner is disputing B3150628, and Danielle Bauer, AE1617 for discussion and possible action. Petitioner is disputing B3150627. Ms. Ferguson and Ms. Bauer, are you present?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Can we have you, Ms. Bauer, will have you go first. If you can raise your right hand, we'll get you sworn in, and then Ms. Ferguson will do you second.
Okay, can you guys see me? Because my phone's being weird right now.
Is this Ms. Ferguson?
Yes.
We cannot.
Okay.
That's okay. We trust you if you tell us your right hand is up, right?
Okay, it's up.
Okay.
And we're doing one at a time anyway. All right, Ms. Bauer. Okay, you have your right hand. Okay, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter, under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I guess we're going just go and swear in Ms. Ferguson
Yes,
right
please.
quick. Ms. Ferguson, do you have your right hand
Yes.
up? Okay. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to hear your guys' cases together, but we're gonna make separate motions for you guys, okay? So depending
Okay.
on who wants to talk first, go for it. We'll hear your guys' side of things, and then we will kick it over to board staff and they'll do their presentation, and then board will deliberate, okay?
Okay. I am trying to get into an appointment for my son if I could, but I don't want to knock Danielle off her schedule either, so.
Go ahead, Megan.
Go ahead.
So I'm still confused about this whole thing from the get-go. So, I mean, a lot of it was explained just in what the conversations you had with Candace, but I was not aware of any of this, which breaks my heart because I think we could have figured that out all together. But in order, I did have to go ahead and pay the $500 fine in order to finish processing my advanced aesthetics license. So I was hoping there was somehow, I had did a little bit of talking with Lauren, just kind of explained to her $500 is a lot of money for me, especially at this time. I work part-time, so I wasn't there when the inspector came in that day. So all of it was just really confusing to walk in one day and be baboomed with all the information and not knowing that we were in the wrong about anything. So having to pay that $500, I was hoping with never having a violation on my aesthetics license that could somehow be waived or reduced or something, just because it would come in a lot of handy now. Like I said, I work part-time, I wasn't there. Kind of just trying to figure all this out, put the pieces together.
Sure. Danielle, do you want to add to any of that?
I can if you'd like. I am the manager that was on duty the day that the inspector came in. We were under the impression that everything was fine. And when she brought it to our attention, I said, oh my gosh, what do we need to do? And Candace mentioned we took those steps that we at that moment. And the rest, I mean, as far as the communications via email and whatnot, I think it was just a very confusing time because we were being regulated very differently than we had been previously regulated. So yes, maybe Candace should have looked for something to come in the mail, but she hadn't ever had to look for something like that to come in the mail. And on, I think, my side and Megan's side, we are going to our business owner, who is a woman of integrity, who has been running a successful business for over 20 years. And we, you know, she was under the impression that we were compliant and she informed us that we were. So we thought it was business as usual.
Thank you. Before we get to board staff's presentation, I do have a question, which I know we don't usually do, but I just want to throw this in here because it does pertain to the past petitioner. And this is for both you and Megan. When you guys are licensed estheticians prior to becoming AE, right? So what kind of establishment did you think that you were working in? And was there any concern about what regulatory agency was overseeing that?
I can answer that if you'd like, Megan.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, so when I started working here, I did report it to the board. And when I spoke to Candace about it, I said, I'm a little bit confused because in my understanding of being a licensed esthetician, you know, there's these certain things that have to be in place. And she mentioned to me what she mentioned to you all. She did open the first medical spa in Las Vegas. And at the time, the way that things were set up were that the medical license really trumped most things. So we were beneath the medical license. And although that she does require that she has licensed estheticians working beneath the medical license, at the end of the day, that was actually what we were working under. So she had already been doing that for many years at that point. So it didn't make sense for me outside of, like, I thought if there was an issue when I reported that I was working here, that I was contacted, as someone had mentioned previously, but never contacted about it. So in my, to my understanding, that was just how things worked. And they did up until 2022 when we had that initial visit, when we were told we were no longer compliant because of the advanced esthetician situation. But outside of that, that was all we had been informed of.
Were you hired because of your aesthetic licensure, or what was?
I was hired as an esthetician, yes.
Same as me.
The problem with this is when you get your license as an esthetician, it is a requirement to make sure that you are using that aesthetic license within a aesthetic establishment. And you kind of had hit the nail on the head when you spoke about the conversation with Candace about how you were unsure of that. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely understand, you know, a boss telling you like this and this and this, and okay, yeah, maybe that makes sense. But I just feel like it was kind of always underlying on the surface, and maybe if just scratched a little harder, it would have come to fruition a little bit quicker. But thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate that. And I think we should kick it to board staff at this time for their presentation.
This is Lauren Gossage for the record. Okay, for Megan Ferguson, A7288, she was cited for practicing in a location that was not licensed by the board. She did recently pay the initial license fee of her advanced esthetician license on August 20th of 2024. She signed her acknowledgement of collaboration on September 26th of 2023, acknowledging that she must work inside of a licensed establishment. However, she just missed the initial payment of her advanced esthetician license. So she recently paid her fine, got her advanced esthetician license, and she is licensed now as an advanced esthetician.
I didn't know that I missed a payment. I just thought I had till October to pay it. Is that wrong?
Yes. So once you submitted your application for advanced aesthetics, you were sent an email letting you know to pay for your initial advanced esthetician license. And with that, you had to supply a new photo. So I did have the service specialist resend you that email, I believe, a couple times.
Yeah, because I got confused because last year when we first filled out the first email, it was like you paid that $15. And then like January came, I was like, oh, I didn't know that we had to redo the 140 again because I'd just done the 140 the year before. So but all the information I got, I thought it was saying, yes, you did submit your application, but we still, like, by October 1st, if you don't pay like your 140 again, then it was all gonna kind of fall apart. So I just made sure to do that. Like I said, it was kind of hard when I had to pay the $500 on top of it. It turned into $640.
I can clarify. Just the $15 was your application fee. It is
Yeah, it was just me not
license,
understanding all that at that time.
Okay. I'll move on to Danielle Bauer. She was cited AE 1617. She was also cited for practicing in a location that's not licensed by the board. She does have her advanced esthetician license on September 19th of 2023. She signed her acknowledgement to get the advanced esthetician license, acknowledging that she has to work inside of a licensed establishment. And her initial advanced esthetician license was September 28th of 2023. So shortly after she signed the acknowledgement.
And this is Janie Huggins for the record. The two licensees were cited on February 22nd, 2024, which was one day after the visit from the inspector, when we did not receive the application in the time frame that was anticipated.
Correct.
And so they weren't issued a cease and desist. It is in various places in the law on the acknowledgement forms, but that is why they were cited from being employees after Inspector Lopez's initial visit.
Okay. Board Member Wold, either one of you licensees would like to answer this question. How long have you guys been working at this facility or business place for Miss Candace?
How long have I been working there?
Yeah.
Over 9 years.
Okay. And how long have you been a licensed esthetician?
Probably just over 10, 11, close to 11.
Okay, and so, in that time, since you saw what happened previously, we've never been licensed at that establishment for aesthetics. Are you aware of that?
I am not aware of that.
So as a licensee, when you go to work, you don't look for the establishment license? Did you ever look for it around?
Well, when I first started there, I started like even like very, very part-time to what I am now. So I do know that she had licenses hanging up in like certain places of the business. And to be honest, I don't think I went and die hard read every single thing on them. I've worked with her for years. I trust her. She's never steered me wrong. And I honestly just think that this was just a mistake.
So for 9 years, you worked at an unlicensed location. So after learning that, you feel you were never steered wrong by your employer?
I thought you said it was just 2 years.
No, you said you've been with her for 9 years. She's never had a spa salon license with the cosmetology board. So she's never been licensed with us.
Okay, well, I'm just learning this. So
Okay. Well, whenever you go into a restaurant, a nail shop, any business, they have to post all their licenses in a conspicuous place. So as a licensee, this is our law. There has to be an establishment license. And as a licensee, you call state board and you let them know where you work. So they would have never allowed that to, I'm sorry, board staff, is this like address on file for her license?
This is Janie Huggins for the record. I would have to go back through, since based on her licensing dates, I would have to go back through paper rules probably to see if she wrote it in prior to Advanced Aesthetics.
But if you look it up now, could you, oh wait, yes, that's what you're saying, if you looked it up right now?
It would.
Okay, because I just don't understand. She says she's been with this lady for 9 years. That means there's never been a spa salon license there. So as a licensee, although you should know that, like the owner should know, you as a licensee have to know too that you are getting licensed with someone who is also licensed. So that is one of our rules, is that when you go anywhere, you can't just walk into a microneedling place as a regular esthetician. You have to have an AE, right? So I would know that I'm not licensed for this. And so it's the same thing when you work somewhere. So to sit here and say I don't know is not acceptable, because we are business owners. You have to know, you have to do your due diligence. That's what the board is here for. So for me as a licensee, I'm like always making sure everybody's licensed. Even when I get my nails done, I'm looking for the license on the wall. And
yeah,
so,
I've seen licenses on the wall. So like I said,
but you have to read them. And what I'm saying is you didn't know for 9 years. So, you have to make changes. And so, I don't understand how, for me, it's hard for me to understand how we don't know that we're working at an unlicensed establishment and doing unlicensed activity.
Well, when somebody's been in business for as long as she's been in business, it's not something I felt like I definitely had to question. She's run a successful business for over 25 years. So yeah, I didn't go look at the fine print. It just was like, here's our licenses, here's this, and I trusted it.
But you should never trust anything as a business owner. You have to do your own due diligence. And so
I'm not a business owner. That's the thing. So I don't understand the business. Yes, I understand what you're saying now, but I don't know the business side of it. If I wanted to know the business side of it, then I would be a business owner, but I'm an esthetician. So I will take your advice and I will be very aware of it for the future.
Yeah, and just so you know, the board staff here at State Board, you can call them at any time. Like if you don't know, call them, ask them everything, bother them. They're here for you all day. Be like, hey, I have a question about this. And they will be so happy to tell you what you need to do or what policies and procedures you need to follow so you don't get yourself in this situation again.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
quickly, Steve McDonald, could we ask Danielle, how long have you been at this location, Danielle?
I have been here for 5.5 years. And back to what I had said previously, I think it was very confusing and it felt like a gray area, but you know, in speaking with Candace and knowing that she had employed many different estheticians previously and that she was actually the person who went into, you know, opening the first med spa and they were the ones who decided how it was going to be regulated. I believe that she was fully thinking that she was operating properly, and I think she was until 2022, until it was brought to our attention that she wasn't. And from my side of things, I have always been compliant as far as reporting where I'm working and whatnot, and I was never contacted about there being an issue with the company that I was working below. So I apologize for any confusion.
Madam Chair,
Yep.
if you want to move this along
Yeah.
as you being the chair.
Yes.
We, as staff to the board, are, because of, it appears there's a lot of confusion here amongst these licensees. And I gotta tell you, I'm a lawyer. I have to let the Nevada Supreme Court, any jurisdiction I'm licensed in, know where I am. I can't just practice law whenever I want and where I want. That's what kind of gets to me at times. It's like I'm licensed just like anybody else, you know, and I have to abide by the rules. And it's the Supreme Court that actually gives me my license. So, you know, you gotta pay attention to that fine print because lawyers write that stuff all the time, right? So, as staff to the board, we're recommending, it's your call, it's your vote. We're recommending that the citation stand and that you waive the fees. That's what staff is recommending to you. And of course, you
I
can do
agree.
whatever you.
I agree. I agree. I think there's a lot of confusion. I think it has to do with us not regulating laser in the past and all of a sudden now regulating laser in the past. But I do just want to emphasize that please make sure that if you move on from that location, that one of the first things that you do is you take your license into the new facility and you make sure that it has an establishment license, because when you sign that document to get your aesthetic license, you did say that you would comply with that task. So, but that is
Yes.
not to say that we do not understand where you guys were confused in this whole entire thing, because I think all 15 people in this room are confused. So we just hope that, you know, this is a learning lesson, and going forward that you guys can just, you know, spread the word in your community, because you're not the only med spa turned cosmetology salon out there. At this time,
Appreciate that.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion, please.
Board Member Harris, I would like to uphold the citation and waive the fees for A-7288 and AE-1617.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Board Member.
So in waiving those fees, will I be reimbursed then for the money that I paid?
1 second.
Thank
All in
you.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Yes, the fee that you had previously paid, you will be contacted by board staff and they will discuss that with you, okay?
All right, I appreciate it so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you guys
Good
for your
luck.
time today.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Bye.
Thank
All
you.
right, Tyler Stinson, OBO. I'm sorry. Oh, I lied. I'm sorry. We're going to T, my bad. All right. Rivka Herkovitz. I think I just didn't want to say that name. Okay. And 5191 for discussion and possible action. Petitioner is disputing V3149593 and V3149592. Do you have to leave?
Yeah.
Okay.
At board member Wold, I'm excusing myself. I don't know. Get on.
Is Anita still online?
Anita, are you still present?
Oh, no. Let me just, yeah.
We've lost our form.
And just
I'm just listening in.
Oh.
That's Anita?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Bonita.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, our quorum is 4. Because you have
Oh,
a
it is
7-member
four?
board.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, we're thinking of 9.
No,
Oh,
we
we
got
sorry,
four.
yeah.
Yeah, so
We
we're
got
still.
four.
I do have
so we're fine.
You have to leave too.
We can, what I, Angeli, for the record, what I would recommend is seeing who's here, taking their
Okay.
cases, and then continuing the rest for the next meeting
Okay,
to
let's do
speed
that.
this up.
All right, Rivka Hershokovitz, are you present? Rivka? All right, Tyler Stinson, Cookie Cutters, are you present?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Tyler, we'll come right back to you, okay?
Okay.
Style 5 Hair Salon, are you present?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, we'll come right back to you. Marie Gonzalez, are you present? All right, Trin Tran Nailed and Lashed, are you present? Okay, Lu Mai Wu, are you present? Okay, Chi Peng Chung, Butte Point Hair Studio Inc., are you present?
Yes,
Hi, we'll be right back with you, okay?
okay.
Jean Little, are you present? Diana pulled out. She withdrew, right?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Jean Little? Little? Miss Jean? All right. Kylie Shea Cedars?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, we'll come right back to you.
Thank you.
Hui Fan, Fantastic Nails and Spa, are you present?
Yes,
I see her on
he's
there.
here.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, we are going to go back to Tyler Stinson, OBO Cookie Cutters S188207 for discussion and possible action. Petitioner is disputing V3149176. Can you please raise your right hand and we'll get you sworn in?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Stinson, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you.
Can you please tell us why you're here today?
Yes, I'm here basically for two reasons. One for clarification and also because I feel like the inspections haven't been going consistently. So let me explain. Last December, my North Las Vegas salon was inspected again, and I actually have 4 salons in the Las Vegas area, and we do a very good job of keeping everything clean. We follow the law. There aren't very many things that we do. We just cut kids' hair and do shampoos. So generally it's quite simple. Each of my salons has a little bit of a different culture. Some of them, they have community tools and clean things together, and others, they have individual barbicide jars and they do their own thing. But each salon, they know what they're doing and they do a good job keeping everything clean and disinfected. In December, we got an inspector who didn't identify themselves, didn't leave us a card, and didn't give us any clarification, and went straight to a citation. They cited hair in the disinfectant solution. And they gave us a picture that shows that there are brushes and combs and there's some hair in the bottom. And I've asked for clarification about when the solution is no longer good enough to disinfect. And I haven't received any clarification. I've read what's on the label of our barbicide, and I believe that we've followed it. So on the one hand, I'm looking for clarification, but on the other hand, I have 4 salons, and the inspectors have told us different things at each salon, and they've also said one thing and then written down another thing. And whenever I do ask for clarification, I get nowhere. And in this particular case, the picture that they sent us was a dirty container. It wasn't the clean container that we use for disinfecting. I wouldn't have known that directly from a picture because I'm not in the salon frequently. But I've discussed with the manager there, and they have two separate containers, and on the top they have a lid, and one of them says clean and one of them says dirty. And I believe the picture is of the dirty container, and you can't see the lid because the lid is off. I may be wrong, but I've asked for clarification on all of this and really received no clarification or guidance. And so my big beef really is that we're asking for help. We want to comply, but we're not getting any clarification.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we're going to hear from board staff.
This is Janie Huggins for the record. This establishment was issued a citation for contaminated barbicide. There was hair found in the barbicide, so the violation specifically is hair instrument, implement, or tool showing signs of debris or not properly disinfected. This is the violation photo of the implements inside a container of disinfectant. Pursuant to our regulations as well as the manufacturer's instructions on barbicide, it specifically says that you must clean the item thoroughly with hot soap and water, remove any debris before fully submerging it for the contact time, which for barbicide is 10 minutes. Their manufacturer's instructions mirror our regulations almost identically. The instructions for barbicide go on to say that once the solution is contaminated, it is no longer effective at killing or killing any type of bacteria or viruses or disinfecting the items that are submerged into it. This is the photo that was attached to the violation. This is another violation photo where you can see some hair debris inside of the disinfectant. I can't speak to whether or not this particular container was labeled, but based on the blue color of the water that it's soaking in, the inspector assumed that it was soaking in barbicide that was no longer effective and not being properly cleaned before being submerged. This is a copy of the regulation that speaks to how often you must change the disinfectant, which is as soon as there's visible debris that it needs to be replaced and replenished. And I believe it also goes on to say that it's a daily thing as well as on the manufacturer's label as well. This is the same information that is repeated on the label of the manufacturer label. On January 25th, this petitioner did reach out to the board staff for the guidance that he is looking for. I specifically responded to him with this attachment of the barbicide label and clarification regarding any kind of contamination being found in the disinfectant, that it renders it useless, basically.
Thank you. All right, any comments from board staff? All right. I think we just saw this earlier today with the hair in the comb, so make a motion.
This is Board Member Harris. I would like to deny this violation, no, uphold this violation S-188-207.
Board Member Moreno, I
Can-
second that motion. All in favor?
I would like to
Any
add-
opposed? All right, motion carries. Yes, did you have something?
Yes, we have multiple containers in the salon. We know how to clean our tools before we disinfect them, and that was the dirty container. And that's why it's labeled dirty. And the color of the water in the dirty container is more or less irrelevant. The clean container, which was next to it and completely empty, also had blue water in it because that's barbicide. And the label doesn't specify which type of soap to use to clean the combs and brushes. And in that particular salon, they use barbicide to clean, and then they use barbicide to disinfect afterward. So it's still a two-step process, but the inspector took a picture of the dirty container where there were, of course, hair. And the inspector didn't say anything to the stylists. There was nothing pointed out to them. So there was no discussion with them. So we have no way of defending ourselves against this. So yeah, I totally agree that if we only had one container for barbicide and it says disinfected on it and we were just letting it soak, that would be completely different, but that's just not the case.
Angela Lee for the record. Thank you so much for your comments. The board has already made their determination. If you have any questions about how to properly clean brushes, please feel free to contact the board. And I'm sorry, we're short on time, so we do have to move on.
I've been waiting here for the entire day, and I would prefer you guys to listen to me and listen to my situation.
Yes, and we did provide you that opportunity. Sorry,
You
Angela
decided
Lee
to
again.
vote before I had a chance to explain.
I understand your contention, but you did have an opportunity to explain prior to the board's decision. You were actually
And
the first person to speak. So we
Mr.
do have to move on.
McDonald earlier said that you guys always give a warning first and try to educate. That was not the case in this situation. There was no education process whatsoever. We were just slapped with a citation. And yeah, it's only $100, but it's the principle. I have 4 salons. We've been open for 8 years and no one has ever said anything like this to us. And you guys are contradicting yourselves by saying that this one is dirty or this one should be clean and there should be no hair in it. And you're just deciding to vote without listening to me. This is quite unfair.
Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I would consult an attorney about how to appeal this decision.
So who am I talking to?
This is Attorney General Angela Lee. Thank you so much.
Okay, Style 5 Hair Salon S7083661 for discussion and possible action. Petitioner is disputing B3150135.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, can you please raise your right hand?
Yes, thank you for
We're
having
going to get you
me.
sworn in, okay?
Yep.
Agenda item B.
Yep.
Okay, can you state your name for the record?
Hwagyong Whitmire, Hwakyong. Last name is Wittmeyer. I'm sorry, I lost my voice. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you.
Can you please tell us why you're here today?
Yes, because I got the citation, $1,000 penalty because we don't offer the wax service. And it's not my first time. I'm the absentee owner, by the way. I'm the hairstylist and kind of investor. My understanding was it was our first inspection while I have ownership. So first inspection, I didn't have any warning about having a wax machine. Wax machine was in the studios, not the service performance. That day, when I have an inspection, I heard one of the hairstylists tried to use it for herself, not to selling the service. Then I provide, when I submit the license, I didn't offer the wax. When I make the price website, there's no wax service. I never have an intention to have an unlicensed performance. I was pretty shocked. I asked what's happening for the manager. She explained to me. But as an owner, I didn't know that she had a wax machine over there because when I have a first inspection, I didn't get any information about that. And then that day, I don't know why she did that, but one of her hairstylists, she tried to use it for herself. And then it was located in the studios, not in the station. I believe they explained the situation. But anyway, even I explained, I got the penalty, I contact the state board, but answer was I need to pay the fine, $1,000. Oh, no way. It's like unacceptable for me. That's why I just appealed this one today.
Okay, thank you so much. At this time, we're going to hear from board staff.
This is Janie Huggins for the record. This establishment was issued a citation for operating a salon without a license. Their establishment license is only for hair services and not for hair and skin services. There was a wax pot that was turned on the premises, and equipment and supplies for the wax pot. They were cited for operating that salon without a license because they're not licensed for skin services.
Yeah, I aware of that. I told you. My understanding was, I don't expect to see that one because I told you it wasn't our first inspection. And then this location is not the station. The location is our studios. I don't know. You can see on the extra picture because you can see a lot of items that sit there. It's not for the service over. I was really upset about the hairstylist mistakes because it's cost me. But as an owner, I need responsible for that. But I feel like, it's very unfair for me. I told you it's not our first time inspection. Honestly,
Sorry, go ahead.
personally, I don't know where it's come from because I'm the absentee owner. I only visit the shop maybe maximum once a month. I'm kind of, anyway, it's gone. It's not there, but I really need to figure it out, this penalty. I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting upset about the whole situation.
This is Lauren Gossage for the record. Regardless if the wax was in the establishment and it was for personal use, we don't allow that, such as the nail files and the buffers that are for personal use. This is a service that is regulated by us, and you have to have a licensee to offer it. And then you also have to have the establishment license to provide that service. So at the time of inspection, the individual in the establishment did say that this was for personal use. However, it's still not able to be brought in and used for personal use in any of our establishments in any capacity.
Yeah, but I told you, you can go our website. There's no wax service. When I create the price list, there's no wax service. My aware is there's no way I don't know why she did that. There's no way we offer this service. Because if I clearly aware as an owner, I already put the wax service, our website price list. I provide the whole thing by email. When I create the price list, when I paid, how much I paid, even our website, there's price list. There's no wax service at all.
With the wax pots on the premises, correct?
I know. The thing is, it was my awareness.
Yes. Unfortunately, aware or not, you are responsible for the things that are in the salon because you are the owner. And that's kind of one of the things about salon ownership is you really, being an absentee owner doesn't give you the ability to step away from responsibility on things like this because you're still compliant whether you're there or not. Unfortunately, somebody from your team, a person that you have in charge should have caught that, especially since it's not on your website for services being offered. But nonetheless, board inspectors came in, they saw what they saw, it's a violation. And it's not necessarily a something that you can just say, well, I'm not responsible because I didn't know it was there.
I'm not saying I'm not
that would be used in every case here.
I'm not saying I'm not responsible for that. Even that day, you can see we have another penalty. I don't know. I didn't know she brought the dog. There's a dog. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can understand your frustration. I absolutely can. At this time, I'm going to ask the board members if we have any questions, any comments. Yeah.
Even I cannot get the reduced price. I don't have to pay just.
Ma'am, please wait for the board to address you before you speak. Thank you.
Any comments? Questions? No? Yeah. Okay, call for a motion.
Board Member Harris, I would like to uphold this violation as 708-361.
Board Member Bonato, I second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. So we are going to uphold the violation and the fees associated with them. I would just maybe meet with the team and let them know explicitly what is allowed, what is not allowed, and just kind of get your house in order so that these violations aren't something that are going to upset you anymore in the future because you're just going to eliminate them altogether.
Okay.
But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to board staff. Otherwise, thank you.
Oh
for
my
your-
God. So I'm waiting for other, like, other previous, other gentlemen. I
Ma'am,
stay there
we
from
do
the
have to
9
move
a.m.
on. You've already had your opportunity and the board's already made its decision. If you wish
Oh,
to
wow,
appeal
you
this-
guys,
If you
it's
wish to appeal this
really
decision,
unfair.
please contact an attorney. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow.
Marie Gonzalez,
I have a question.
are you Marie?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
This is Janie Huggins for the record. We're hearing petitions only right now. If you have a question, you'll have to reach out to board staff.
Well, my question is, I didn't hear my name and I wanted to make sure I was on the list.
You're not on this agenda.
Okay, because I did get the email, so I'm not sure how I was not on this agenda and I've been on.
We will reach out to you after the conclusion of this meeting to clarify.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Marie Gonzalez, are you present?
Just continue it. Like if you want to just like keep it moving fast, you can just say, I'll entertain a motion to continue to the next. Up to you. I'm just saying, if we want to keep it
We need to
moving.
go to item C because that person's present.
Yeah, actually also said.
Oh, I wrote those wrong. Marie is not here and Trent is.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
let's do
Okay.
X.
Tran Tran O nailed and lashed S 707-832 for discussion and possible action. Petitioner is disputing B 3150675, B 3150676, and B 3150667. Ms. Tran, are you here?
Yeah.
Ms. Tran, are you here? All right, moving on, we're gonna go to Chi Pung Chung, OBO Butte Point Hair Studio Inc. S 187741 for discussion and possible action. Petitioner is disputing B 3150247. Ms. Chung, are you present? No, she was here. Yeah. Ms. Chung? All right, Kylie Shea Cedars, C 54223 for discussion and possible action. Petitioner is disputing B 3149992 and B 3149993.
Hi, sorry, 1 second. I'm having a technical difficulty. Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you, yep.
Okay, so
Wait,
am
one
I
second.
able to?
We just need to get your hand up so we can get you
Okay.
sworn in, okay?
Okay.
Hi, Ms. Tyler, could you please your right hand? Okay, I see you. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, you can go ahead.
Okay, so thank you for your guys' time today. The first petition that I'm asking to have waived is my fine that I was fined for an illegal cheese grater tool. I was wrongly fined for the cheese grater, so I think we have a little bit of a misunderstanding. That tool does not belong to me. I've never owned one. My boss was asked who the implements belong to, and she said a completely different name than mine, from what I understand. I was standing somewhat nearby, and I didn't make out the name she said, but I would have been pretty alarmed if I heard my name. So I know it wasn't my name. I received the email from State Board letting me sorry, I'm a little nervous, letting me know about the fine, and I confronted my boss. She said that she had emailed the inspector, Ryan, and let him know that he fined the wrong person because those weren't mine. She said she never told the inspector, Ryan, that they were mine. The tools did not ever belong to me, never have. The cheese grater tool, along with the entire basket pictured, is not mine. I do not have a clear basket, none of that stuff. My basket is actually white.
Bye, you guys. Sorry, I gotta go. I'll see you.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
My basket is white. It's in a different shape. I do have photos of my basket if necessary. It looks completely different. The next fine that I'm petitioning is that I got a wax buildup fine. That morning I had a waxing service. I did a wax testing strip on my arm. I then realized that my soft wax was too hot. So I went ahead and used hard wax on my client. I had to go back after my client and adjust the temperature on my soft wax. And as pictured, it's located in a wooden box. So I had to lift up the wax box that's heating up my wax, and it spilt over a little bit. So I just thought, okay, my wax spilt. I can't do waxes for the day. This is a big mess. Gonna have to let it stay hot so I can scrape the wax off because it's really hard to get off of there. Super gooey. It takes hours for me to scrape off. The spray barely works. So I decided no more waxes for the day. I then took my pedicure client. That day was actually my birthday, so I was leaving early, February 1st. I didn't want to work at all, so I just came in for a few little clients there. So I thought, okay, after this pedicure client, I'm leaving. I'm just not taking those waxes, and I'm just gonna go ahead and take my pedicure client. So I took that, and then I take full responsibility for not cleaning my pot fast or quick enough, but I realized that even if my wax pot needs repair before use, I should handle it a little bit more professionally. I was thinking next time if that happens, maybe I should put an out of use sign up, or like this wax spot's not being used at the moment. And I intend to follow the laws a lot more carefully next time. So like I said, I do take full responsibility, but I planned to leave early that day and I was no longer taking any services after it had spilled for the waxing. I don't do too many waxes to begin with. It's a nail shop. So I again take responsibility, but I'm looking to have that fine waived since it was a whole misunderstanding and I spilled the wax.
We'll hear from
Okay.
board staff.
Yes, can we hear from board staff?
Yes, this is Lauren Gossage for the record.
I'm not sure if I for sure mentioned it that my boss did email the Ryan inspector, letting her know him know that those were not mine.
Thank you. For Kaylee Sider, C54223, she was cited a first offense for failing to maintain her equipment, which, as she has explained, is her wax pot. It's for the wax debris being on the outside of the pot, not being clean. And then she was also cited first offense for allowing practicing invasive procedures for the multiple graders that you see in these photos. So she has a total of 2 citations. The grader citation is a total of $200, and the failing to maintain equipment is $100.
Board Member Detry, did we get some type of notification from her boss about the graders?
This is Janie Huggins for the record. We did, the salon establishment owner did reach out directly to the inspector stating that they wanted to let us know that the wrong person was fined for the cheese graters, and that he may have misheard, but they did not apply another individual licensee to those violations. In situations like this where a violation is wrongly issued to an individual, if another licensee is willing to come forward and say, that is my violation, I am signing off that I will take it, I take responsibility for it, we will move it from one to the other. So absence of that additional person or willingness to take on the monetary violation, it was not moved, and we directed the petitioner to follow through with the petition process. We were never provided with an individual licensee or license number to issue these violations to. Yeah.
Right. To transfer it to.
Transfer to.
May I speak again in a moment?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I just wanted to add in that I do feel like it's really unfair. I don't know, from what it sounds like she should have added in another name, but that's not something I can do. I'm not a manager. I'm not sure who they belong to. Some people store their items. I didn't see those other 2 pictures of the other yeah, those, I didn't see that pink or orange cheese grater sent to me as violations, so I'm unaware of those ones. And I just find that really unfair. People do use that as a storage area. They'll just leave their stuff in there. So, I mean, I'm completely unaware of whose those are. I store my stuff in a completely different area. It's in a cupboard on the ground. So this stuff looks like it's clearly kind of like up high, but anything I store is down close to the ground. So I have a whole area and it has my name written all over it. None of this stuff has my name on it. I like to write my name on all of my stuff because there's a stealing problem sometimes. So I don't know whose any of those are. I'm not a manager. I don't feel like it's my responsibility to keep track of who's using illegal items since I'm not a manager. And that's not fair that no one stepped up to say whose they were. But I just feel like that's scary to think that people can get fined for stuff that's not even theirs or anywhere near their area.
Thank you.
Board Member O'Brien, can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Hi, I have a question for board staff. Was the salon fined for the cheese graters?
This is Janie Huggins for the record. No, I do not believe the citations were issued to the establishment because they were issued to an individual licensee.
Okay, thank you. Does board staff have a recommendation on how to handle this situation where the owner did provide commentary that this was not the right recipient of the fine, however, did not provide the correct recipient?
And Madam President, Steve McDonald for the record. Also, the owner did not say that they would take it on as a citation.
Okay.
They didn't volunteer to take it either. So, sorry, Ms. Siders, that's maybe the owner should have, if this is a general storage area and graders are not supposed to be on the premises at all. This has already been heard before on today's agenda, on the premises at all. And so if they are possibly yours, you were cited for it. But if the owner comes forward and says, oh, wrong person, this is the wrong person, then the owner needs to tell us who that licensee is, or they can take on the citation as well. We can't change the fact that those graders were on the premises. So
yeah.
Someone is responsible for it.
Right.
Okay,
So-
wouldn't that be the owner's responsibility though, and not mine to figure that part out?
You're telling us that that is a general storage area that anybody can put anything anywhere in that area?
That's a sterilizer, sir. So people just kind of leave their stuff in there when they're done working.
So.
That's a public sterilizer that was pictured.
So I would say, this is Board Member Harris. With this situation, seems as though no one came forth and your owner did not say who it was, even though those cheese graters are at your employer, at your establishment. So I would, instead of, you have to take on half the responsibility, at least. That's what I would say.
The board can deliberate
Yeah.
unless they have a question for Ms. Siders.
This is Janie Huggins for the record. The inspector in Reno is available if you have any questions. Additionally, because this licensee did reach out right away contesting these violations, I did ask the inspector at the time, and he said that the owner pointed at the licensee's station and license, which is how he ended up citing them. If you wish to ask him questions, he can further explain.
And he can be under
he
oath
did.
as well.
He points at them and then he says later that it wasn't her.
Correct.
That's conflicting.
I was actually standing nearby, like I said, though, and she said a name that I couldn't make out, and it wasn't mine. I was standing in the same hallway, and I didn't see anyone point at me. And like I said, I have a whole nother station. I have a photo of that. That's not my stuff. I have a completely different looking belongings that I have photos of.
Okay, thank you. The board is going to deliberate. So if it's your turn to talk, they'll address you.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry. You guys have to deliberate on the record.
Yeah, on the
Sorry.
record, yeah. I would think. Are you, Kylie, are you an esthetician also?
I'm a cosmetologist.
Oh, you're a cosmetologist, okay. Mhm.
Relax.
Not have,
No, I think we should waive it.
okay.
Yeah, it's completely, can't
Okay,
for sure know who it belonged to.
okay. Board Member Harris, I would like to, can I get a motion? No, I'm Vice President. Can I get a motion?
Yeah.
Board Member Moreno, I would like to uphold. Which violation is this one? V 314-992. That's the last one.
This is Lauren for the record. The one ending in 9-2 is the one for the cheese graters.
Oh, okay.
But this is Janie Huggins for the record. And Dagley can correct me if this is speaking out of turn, but it is my understanding that you want to uphold both violations, but waive the fee for the $200 violation for the cheese grater.
Correct.
Correct? And if I'm not mistaken, you can say so moved and then give me a second.
Yeah, so somebody just needs
Okay.
to make the motion. Sorry, I did not realize that was what was happening.
Okay.
Is that what you're wanting to do, or you're wanting to just, you're wanting to only uphold the wax one?
Correct. Uphold both, but reduce the fee for the
yeah.
$200 violation.
Okay, so you can say I move to uphold both violations, but only fine for the wax, or I'm sorry, for the,
For the what?
yeah,
V314.
V314, yeah.
Okay. So Board Member Moreno, I would like to uphold the violations, but
Only fine.
only fine for V 314-9993.
Can I get a second? Oh,
So you can say for like $100 fine.
$100 fine.
can I get a second?
Board Member Detri, I second that.
Okay, also moved.
Motion, I'm saying motion carries.
Motion carries.
There we go.
Oh, all in favor?
No, you have to.
Oh, sorry.
Anyone opposed?
I'm so sorry, yeah.
Oh,
Anyone opposed?
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
Motion carries.
I
Motion
have a-
carries.
I have a question.
Okay, we really only have a second, so it needs to be a very quick question. Go ahead.
So I'm just wanted to clarify, so I still have the violation even though they weren't mine and have no idea whose they were, I'm still gonna have that on my record?
Yes, and if you have any questions about how to appeal that, please speak to an attorney, but we do have to move on. So there will be a $100 fine assessed against you. And if, again, like I said, if you wish to appeal that or recontest it, please contact an attorney.
Can my boss talk to you guys about whose it was and then would that?
Unfortunately, we really don't have time to keep discussing this issue. The board has made its decision.
And board staff can reach out to
And
you.
yes, and you can contact board staff or contact an attorney.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. GG Hugh Fine OBO Fantastic Nails and Spa S-187959. Hugh?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
There it is.
Yes. Hello, yes.
Okay, Ms. Reyes, have your hand.
Could you raise, we would like to get you sworn in. Could you raise your right hand?
Yes.
Okay, Hugh, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Hugh, we can hear your case now. Go ahead. Oh, yes.
Find him and I will be translating for him.
Oh, okay. Well, you need to also get sworn in. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes, do you affirm to interpret correctly of what Hugh testifies to the best of your ability?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now you can go ahead. State your case.
Dạ, hôm đó có người test bo xuống kiểm tra tiệm và sau khi kiểm tra xong chúng tôi có hỏi người đó trả lời rằng chúng tôi rất tốt và cô ấy có đùa với chúng tôi rằng là ngày hôm nay là kỳ kiểm tra cuối cùng của cô ấy và trước khi cô ấy retire. Chúng tôi vui vì cô ấy được có những ngày tốt đẹp sau khi retire và sau đó chúng tôi nhận được email từ State Board phạt chúng tôi. Chúng tôi ngỡ ngàng không biết lý do từ đâu và chúng tôi đã quay camera lại và thấy cái đó là chúng tôi không nghiêm cấm không được dùng từ lâu. Cái đó là của những người thợ và tôi giữ trong office và sẽ trả lại cho những người thợ đó.
So he said that on the day of the inspection, the inspector came, and when the inspector had finished the inspection and she was on her way out, he asked her if there was anything wrong, to let him know. And she said that there was nothing and that today was her last day since she was going to retire, and everyone was cheering for her. And then after the next day, she got an email from State Board notifying him of the citation. And when he was really surprised by it, since he was not told during the inspection, and for the citation that was issued, it was not his or the salon. It was brought by an independent contractor, and she had started that first day. And when he saw them, he took them away immediately and told her that she cannot use those graders. And due to it being a busy day with customers coming in, the contractor told him to put them away for her so that she can bring them home when she's done with the customer.
Okay, thank you. We'll now hear from State Board, board, from staff.
Hello, this is Janie Huggins for the record. This petitioner is disputing a violation for allowing or practicing invasive procedures for having prohibited cheese graters on the premises. The petitioner did supply us with supporting documents, including these photos of the multiple graters, some screenshots of the inspection, and then they also provided us with some video footage, which I will play for you in just a moment. Sorry, let me see if I can make this larger. That is the State Board inspector. You're about to hear her speak. And then there's one more clip that they provided us. So based on the video that was provided by the petitioner, you can see our State Board inspector enter the room. She's speaking to someone. That person is not identified. There was no violation issued to them. It went to the establishment, so I'm not sure exactly who was in that room or if it was a private room. Citations were issued. What they said is correct. That was, I believe, her last day or somewhere around it, and she is now retired and not available for consultation. But if you have any questions, we can entertain those.
I relay that to petitioner, what you just mentioned.
Say it again.
I relay what you just said to the petitioner.
Absolutely.
Nó nói là trong cái video đó không có biết là ai là người bả đang nói chuyện với, rồi nó không có biết là người đó có là.
Không, cái đó là cái office.
He said that is a private office.
Okay. Okay, so these cheese graters that Board Member Harris, for the record, cheese graters she removed from that office, they are not used in your establishment?
Nói là cái dùng cái cây đó là bà không có dùng trong tiệm không?
Tuyệt đối không, cái đó là luật.
He said absolutely not, because he knows that that's the law to not to use them. So that's why he was not allowing her to use it and told her that she could not use it.
Who could, what?
Somebody that came in for the day.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So why did our inspector why did she confiscate them? Why did she take the cheese graters?
Tại sao bạn lấy cái keo gạo đó?
Không hiểu, tại vì cái office mình giữ cho thợ, trong office
Oh,
Oh,
mình
she
không
just moved it.
đi vô office đi chạy.
Sorry. He does not know why she went into the private office and took them out and never asked him why or never told him about it so that he could provide her the explanation. She just snapped a photo and walked away.
This is Janie Huggins for the record. I don't happen to have the answer to that question, but in that video that I showed that was provided by the petitioner, you can see the inspector approach the door, knock, walk away, and sound as though she is speaking to someone. And then she comes back to the door, opens it. She announces herself. You can clearly hear that she says State Board of Cosmetology here for an inspection. Whoever is inside that room, I do not know, but they allowed her to come in and complete the inspection. Again, I don't know what's behind that door, who was behind that door, but she knocked, was granted entry based on her completing the inspection and found the prohibited items.
Nó nói là cái bà đó vô cái phòng đó rồi có ai cho bà vô.
Bà mở cửa vô chứ đâu ai cho vô đâu.
Ai ở
Cái
trong
cửa đâu
đó
đâu.
họ-
Cái người đang dọn dẹp, cái người già đang dọn dẹp.
He's saying that there was a cleaner in the office and he doesn't know a lot of English. And so when she knocked, he couldn't say much. And he just grabbed it.
Oh, he was in the office.
Not him. No, it was a cleaner. An older gentleman, the cleaner,
Người liên
cleaner of the establishment.
Oh, okay, thank you.
This is Janie Huggins for the record. It's a cleaner or your the father-in-law.
The father-in-law is the cleaner.
Oh, okay. But these items are not supposed to be on the premises at all. So we don't know if you use them, if you don't, we only go by what we find, our inspectors find. So do I have any more questions from the
Can I
board?
get to him real quick?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nó nói giờ nó không có biết ai dùng cái đó nhưng mà nó thấy cái đó ở trong tiệm nên nó phạt.
Thì cái đó là trong tiệm rồi đã nghiêm cấm từ lâu rồi, tự tao mới tịch thu vô office tao trả lại cho thợ. Cái đó là mình biết luật.
He said that he does not allow any employees or contractors to use it. That's why he told that employee or that independent contractor to not use it. And due to it being a lot of customers being there, she couldn't go and discarded it in her car or somewhere else. So she told him to put it in the office for the time being.
Oh, I see.
Okay, thank you so much. The board's
Thank
going
you.
to deliberate now.
Yeah. Can I get a motion?
You can deliberate before the motion.
I just have one question for staff. Have
Yeah.
they been inspected again since this violation?
This is Janie Huggins for the record. Yes, they have had multiple inspections since this violation was issued. Do you have any?
And
follow-
has any of these cheese graters been found?
This is Janie Huggins for the record. No, they have not been cited again for having prohibited cheese graters.
Cái phải nó phải có bị đáp lại.
Sorry, you have to deliberate on the record.
Yeah, on the record, we have to talk about it
I would think uphold
because they were
violation.
there.
Because it was on the property.
It was on the
Mhm.
property and half the fine.
Okay. So can I get a motion?
Yeah, I think they could have just discarded it right away instead of
Mhm.
saying somebody couldn't take it to the car, all this. I mean, since he knows it's a bad situation, it's illegal, throw it in the trash can, take it out into the dumpster in the back of the place. You don't get rid of it.
Yeah.
So in case state board did walk in, you got it in your hand, even though you're saying you're not using it, it's still evidence of it's on the property. It's in the
Yes.
business.
And I said what you said to him, so he
Yes.
knows.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes,
go ahead.
please.
And then after this.
Ba biết vậy sao ba học hỏi được thùng rác thôi. Nếu mà
Tại cái đó không phải của ba, của là của thợ.
he said that that's
Oh, I'm sorry. It's actually not your turn to talk.
Go ahead. I think you should. Put it on.
Sorry, you guys have to deliberate on the record.
I'm running a meeting at this point. You will have to
Do
do
you
the
wanna
motion.
fight or should we just do a motion?
Yes.
Not his belongings, so he can't throw them away.
All right. Board Member Moreno, I want to uphold the violation of S 187959.
Can I get a motion, a second?
Board Member O'Brien, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much for your time. We have just upheld your and gave you a discount on your fee, on your fine.
No,
No, we did not. Oh, no, we did not. We upheld your motion. I'm sorry.
And board staff will reach out to you.
And board staff will reach out to you. Thank you.
Madam Vice President, can we go ahead and go to, oh, actually, we need to trail all of these, make a motion. Yeah, going back to all the items that were trailed, we need to go ahead and move those to, or actually, we could just vote on them. Yeah.
It can be an omnibus.
Yeah. Board staff recommends that you deny in absentia.
Yeah.
So you can just say so moved after I'm done.
Okay, okay.
Agenda item E, F, G, I, L, O, T, W, X, Y, Z. Oh, and DD. That is all of them.
So,
Call them before we, like,
so,
because we trailed them on the record, they have to have the opportunity to be recalled. You can't deny them that they weren't here if we don't recall them. They were called.
Yeah, just call them again. Yeah. Board,
Yeah, we can do it like quickly, but we do have this because we made the decision to trail. We can't say that they're not here
Right.
without making sure
Call
they're
them
not here.
again. Yeah. Gotcha.
Is petitioner E, Rosetta Rubio present?
Just keep going.
Petitioner F, Sandy Valencia. Petitioner G, and Amanda Lamb. Petitioner, I think she withdrew hers, but we'll call her for just for good measure. Petitioner I.B. Nails. Petitioner L, Paradise Thai Wellness. Petitioner O, Lone Ha.
Yes, my name is Lonha.
Right back to you. We're just gonna trail her to the next meeting.
We'll
We'll
come
take
right back
one
to you, okay?
moment.
Don't hang up.
Yeah, sorry, just come back from the doctor.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Thank
Hold
you.
on 1 second. Yes.
Petitioner T, Rivka Hershkovitz. Petitioner T. Petitioner W, Marie Gonzalez. Petitioner X, Trin Tran, on behalf of Nailed and Lashed. Petitioner Y, Blue Mei Wu. Petitioner Z, Chai Chung, on behalf of Butte Point Hair Studio Incorporated. Petitioner DD, Jean Lytle.
What about CC?
We did. hers.
CC
We
is
did
on.
her. Oh, we drew. Okay.
Okay, so the board is, can make a motion on those, like all together and say items, and then you say the letters, be summarily denied for failure to appear.
Okay, can I get a motion? She's here.
Yes, we can
So
interact her.
We're gonna
Let-
do this.
We can
need
do
to
this
call
one first.
those letters.
Yeah.
And what am I gonna say? Call the letters.
Okay, so you'll need to move for E, F, G.
Board Member
I.
Moreno, once.
So so you'll need to make a, like, if
Yeah.
the board is intending to summarily deny these petitions
We
for
are.
not appearing, you can just say, I move that item agenda numbers or letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, B summarily denied for failure to appear at the petition.
Okay,
So do you know what numbers they are
yeah, I got it.
or what letters they are?
All of them but X. Okay.
Okay, so it should be, you circled them already?
I,
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So I would like to deny the petitions,
I'd like to
move
to deny
petition E, F, G, I, L, O, T, W, Y, Z, D, D.
Okay, not O.
X. Oh, X. Deny X. I saw O for failure to appear.
Can I get a second?
Board Member O'Brien, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, it looks like we need another motion for Z
Lona.
and DD as
Yeah,
well.
I thought I said that. Oh, yeah, look at that.
I also thought she said those, but.
She did.
I did say.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Miss Lona, Loan.
Yes.
We can hear you now. Okay. State your case, please.
Wait.
Oh, wait, we have to swear you in.
Yes. Hey, can you please raise your right hand? Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this matter under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you can go ahead now. What brings you to the board?
So, first of all, I would like to say thank you for your time. And it's hard to say. I think my speak not really well. I hope you guys can understand. And I got two citation statement. One for my nail license and the other one for the wax. But I think the day the inspector came to inspection, I'm not working there with the wax license, so I'm feel look like that day I'm not working there. So I hope you guys can consider about that day because I'm not working, and on that day the shop they remodel, so it a little bit messy everything there. So I don't know how to talk, but I hope you guys can consider it for me about that situation.
Okay, so we'll hear from board staff now.
This is Lauren Gossage. For licensee N42787, she was cited a first offense for invasive procedures for having the cheese grater in the trolley during the inspection on January 18th of 2024. And then she was also cited for failing to dispose of single-use items after use on a client on the same day, January 18th, 2024, for the wax sticks and the mascara wand, which appear to be in some debris. So the total that she has been cited is 2 citations, one for $100 for single-use item and one for $200 for the cheese grater.
Okay, great, thank you. Can I get a motion? Oh, wait, you have any questions?
So this is her station.
Yes.
This is Board Member Detry.
Correct.
Can I get a motion?
Okay. This is board member Moreno. I would like to uphold violation V3149802 and V3149773.
Can I get a second?
This is Board Member Detry. I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much, Lohan. We've made a decision and good luck to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. So you guys working so hard, and
I really
Thank you.
appreciate that.
And we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay.
Madam Vice President Steve McDonald, for the record.
Yes.
We're on agenda item 6.
We are on agenda item
We have items A, 6A and 6C. I'd like to give a highlight to the board members of what's been happening with the Nevada State Board. There'll just be a couple of highlights rather quickly.
Okay.
You might want to let her know that her agenda
Ms. Lloyd,
items over.
Yeah, your agenda items has been over. If you have any questions, you can refer back to our staff. Reach out to the staff if you have any questions. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Oh, she. Okay.
Okay, so brief highlights. The one highlight I want to talk about, at least for operations, is that we've implemented another educational tool besides our newsletter, which I hope you all have received. It went out on the 1st of October. Is that we've implemented a compliance certificate program where we're actually notifying establishments, spas, salons, as well as schools that have, for the first 2 quarters, 2 inspections, have had no violations at that location, including no violations by individuals. So they've done double duty, no establishment licenses or school citations, and no individual citations at that location. We've actually implemented that to celebrate them in helping us protect the public. Those licensees were listed in the newsletter. We're proud to acknowledge their hard work in helping us protect the public. So I want to say thank you to them. As well as, sometimes they say they think that government's always there to hit you with a stick. And that's really not what we're here to do. We're here to work with you and to give you actually a pat on the shoulder. And so that certificate program does go to them. I do sign as executive director, acknowledging their hard work. And at least the licensees that have come forward that have met that standard, I think it's 8 or 9 licensees. They're actually happy to have received them because it shows that they're doing the right thing.
Okay.
So that's one of the major highlights I want to do. The other highlight, that's why I want to do A and C together. We have a biennial report that goes to the governor's office, every 2 years. And so it happened to be due. And one highlight I have out of that is that we issue about 4 to 5 times more compliance reviews, which are warnings, than we do citations. We issued over 6,000 over the 2 years, over 6,000 compliance reviews. Those are warnings, no citation, no fines are involved, versus the same 2-year period, we issued over 2,000. So when I'm out there talking to the industry and speaking, and then of course coming before the board here, we don't just talk, we walk. We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. We're here to work with them because we know I don't have 1,000 inspectors, 2,000 inspectors, 1,000 investigators to regulate this industry. We have about 45,000 registrations and licensees in our industry. I don't have that many people. So we keep our costs down, and we are inspecting and doing the best that we can, and hopefully answering questions. The newsletter helps. We're highlighting areas that we're seeing out there. So we want people to get a head start to doing the right thing. And also we're going into the schools as I was mandated to do when I was hired, was to get back into those schools, to make sure that they're on track, and we're seeing them every quarter. So that's a highlight of what the Nevada State Board is doing. You have those reports, and I thank you for your support of me and the staff.
Board Member O'Brien here.
Yes.
Hi, I just want to comment on that. I feel like board staff and the executive team are doing a wonderful job about that. I think it's much harder to go in and educate and issue warnings and follow up with that rather than it would be just to go in and cite and do fines. So I do feel like board staff and the executive team are upholding what our mission was 2 years ago when we redid the laws, when we set our goals for the future. And a big part of that was the schools and the education. And I feel like we are on target with that and we're going in the right direction. And I'm proud of what the work that we're doing. And I'm excited to see the future for what we are about to do.
Yes, thank you,
Agreement.
board member. We agree. Yes.
Very good.
Totally agree with you.
Very good.
Thank you for that support.
Okay.
Madam
are we
Vice
doing-
President.
Mhm.
Also, we have the financial report has also been provided to you that
Mhm.
our board president, O'Brien, as well as Anita Douglas, our treasurer, to the treasurer, sees every month our financials. Of course, it's just 1 month, so we're within budget.
Yes, okay.
It's just 1 month of the fiscal year. It's
Okay,
July.
July, okay.
So, but as to provide the board and transparency to the board members, it is in your packet as well.
Mhm.
I have our wonderful chief accountant that
Yes.
Josephine Avadera that does these financials and keeps us on track and make sure that we're doing everything correctly. And she's here to answer any questions that you may have on the financial or 1 month financial for you.
Right.
If you don't, then she
Anyone
can
have
get
a
out of here.
question?
Nope.
Nope, we don't have a question.
Okay.
It's a long day for you, Paul, but should you have any questions after this, feel free to call or email me and I can explain to you whatever you wanted to know on the financials.
Okay, well, thank you, Josephine. Thank you.
All right. And
Board Member O'Brien, cookies. We need cookies in the budget. Just kidding.
Peanut butter.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna
and-
do D.
Yes,
Selection D.
yes, Madam Vice Chair, Vice President. 6D, these are the proposed dates. There's always, our general rule is always the first Monday, except for, I think, July. Yeah, let's do the 4th of July holiday for that. So these dates, we just need your approval. These will be our regularly scheduled quarterly meetings for the next calendar year.
Okay, so we're looking at January 6th, 2025, April 7th, 2025, July 14th, 2025, and October the 6th, 2025.
I have just a quick ask.
Mhm.
Molly's still on, I believe.
Yes, and I have an ask for the January date.
Oh,
Okay.
well, go ahead, Molly, you're present. You ask first.
Thank you. Is it possible to just adjust by a week and do the following Monday instead of the 6th? Just travel times. I'm a little worried about vacationing with family, et cetera.
Yes.
Absolutely, Madam President.
So the 13th.
So
Thank
July
you.
13th,
January or July?
January.
January.
Okay. Anything else?
And again, July 14th was chosen because of the July 4th holiday
Holiday.
that bleeds into that first Monday, so we moved
Right.
it a week. to the 14th.
Board Member Detri, I was gonna ask the same if the 6th of October could be moved to the following Monday, but that's Columbus Day.
That's not a state holiday. So if there's no issue, sorry, this is
Yeah.
Jenny Higgins for the record. So it's not a state holiday. So
Yeah.
if there's no
I'm just gonna
issues.
be out of town on the 6th and I don't wanna miss meetings if I can help it. Oh, well, then I guess. Screw that. It's actually my birthday.
Oh, it's your birthday? Okay.
It was yesterday, so 6th. it's every year.
Oh, happy
happy
birthday.
birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday. We would have had a
birthday.
cake for you.
Yeah.
Or cookies,
And we could have
maybe, maybe some cookies.
Just
Stop with the cookies.
So that's really it, is that you want consideration about the October
If,
6th
because I know I'm gonna be.
to move
Next
it.
year.
To October 13th then, the next
Is
week.
that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you,
That's good.
Yeah.
thank you.
We're fine with it. It's up
I'm
to
fine
your
with
fellow
meeting.
board members.
So the
Additional
new-
meetings through the year, I'm fine with all that, just that day is.
The
Right.
new proposed dates would be January 13th, 2025, April 7th, 2025, July 14th, 2025, and October 13th, 2025.
Thank you.
We need a motion.
You
Oh,
can just
can I
say,
make a
you can
motion?
just say
Oh.
so moved,
So moved
then ask for a second.
for a second. Can I get a second?
Board Member Modena, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. No, she said aye. She's just late. She was just late.
Okay. We're on,
Okay,
agenda
then,
item number 7. Madam
Number
Clerk.
7. Comments from the general public for discussion only. The board will entertain comments from the general public for any item that is related to the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology. Any comments? Limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. I'm going once, twice, no comments. Okay, we're moving on to agenda item number 8, comments from the board members for discussion only. The board will entertain comments from the board members for any item that is or is not on published agenda and is related to the Nevada State Board of Cosmetology. No action can be taken on the matter unless it is included in an agenda. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes or less. Any comments from the board up north? Down south?
Board Member O'Brien, I have a comment.
Okay.
My comment is that I know that the board is trying not to be redundant and issuing fines on, similar infractions. However, I would like to see the salon owners being more responsible when it comes to things that are absolutely illegal and not allowed or permitted to be on the premises, such as these cheese graters. But again, I understand the idea of not issuing more fines than necessary. However, I do feel like it would allow for some more responsibility to ensure that there is compliance with the licensees. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Anyone else?
Board Member Wold, I just wanted to say a thank you to the board. There was a new law that passed for the collaboration agreement for estheticians, and I saw people posting just about receiving clarification and messaging back and forth with the board. So I just wanted to say thank you guys. I appreciate seeing licensees say that they're having better communicative experiences with you guys, whether it's them reaching out to you for clarification or them just feeling comfortable coming to the board to ask questions. So I just want to say good job there.
Thank you, Board Member Ward. We appreciate it. Okay, anyone else? If not, okay. Agenda number 9, this is an adjournment. I appreciate all of you guys and thank you. Have a great weekend. A board member adjourned. Oh, no, wait a minute. Hold on one second. Oh, this is adjourned. Board meeting is adjourned at 5:42 p.m. Monday, October the 7th, 2024. Thank you. Have a good day. Good night.
Good work, everybody. We made it.